Are we live? I think we're live. Howdy, everyone. Welcome to Merry Madness.
All right.
I am the host this week, Shadow of Hawk. And below me, I should probably shift this up. Ryan will get pissed at me. Above
Why
me
will he
now,
get pissed at you?
because he prefers for me to be on the bottom for some reason. I don't know.
You don't know why I think I did.
No, I understand the sexual innuendo part. I fully am aware of what that means, Kat. Above me, we got my co-host, Kat the Jobby Gamer. And then to her right, my up, your left, if we're going off where the chat location is, we got Zenny Biscuit. If you are familiar with Kat's live streams, these live streams, or the Discord server, you'll know who Zenny is, but I'll let her introduce herself.
Zenny Biscuit, I guess.
I call her the most creative person on the internet because she's just amazing. So I just have to add that because seriously, everything I've seen you do, the pictures of everything you have shown, every single time has blown my mind. The only thing I've gotten close to doing is I used to do cross stitching and crochet and knitting.
Yeah.
And even that was not impressive. I mean, the only one that looked impressive was the cross stitching because that isn't really that hard when you really think about it. Just requires patience.
Yeah. Do you mind if I just to like kind of show off some of your stuff? I'm just pulling up some of the pictures of stuff you posted in the Discord. Do you mind if I share those?
Go for it.
Yeah. So I'm doing the one with the dog and then some of the drawings you've posted of like the different characters from the stuff you're working on. I think that's a decent picture. So yeah, just to give you guys, I mean, because we really don't have any topics this week.
I do, but Shadow apparently only plays weirdly obscure video
You get to
games.
talk about Zelda after we're done with the intro. So here we got a picture of a clothing that Zenny made for her. I'm assuming this is your dog?
Yeah, that's Cam.
That's
Cam? My god, the cuteness, and I normally don't like dogs.
Can we ban her, please? Is that a thing we can do?
Me?
Yes.
Hey, right now I am so hungry. I am so tired. I won't
and then over here,
do anything.
We got some of the drawings that Zenny. I'm assuming these are drawings you've done, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure because you never claimed otherwise. But like, it'd be really bad for me to flash these and then like someone else in the server go, "Wait a minute, I drew those for her." Shadow, what are you talking about? Yeah.
Amazing.
So really talented person. First time you're on one of the live streams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Spock, don't worry. Zenny seems to be a lot more of a Type A personality than Droid, so she should be able to keep me and Kat from going bad. I forgot to tweet the stream out. I am intelligent. I promise I'm intelligent.
You don't have the same excuse that I have. My brain is not working right now.
I know. Yeah, I'm going to tweet this out.
Oh, my God.
Don't worry, Zenny. This week shouldn't go. I still feel bad for Droid about how that went.
Yeah.
I still feel really bad for Droid. Oh, speaking of last week, I need to apologize. After the stream, like I promised I would do some research. And it turns out Kat was half right.
No, well, you did
You
did
were
one
saying
day.
that it was what you were saying was it was the pyramids and other of those things, they were built by farmers during periods where they couldn't do it.
Yes.
What I found was I looked. Now, granted, I didn't watch any documentaries. I didn't have time. I Googled a bunch of articles, checked the credentials of the writers, made sure that like they were actually people talking about stuff and not just BuzzFeed authors. Yeah. And I couldn't find anything about the farmers being the ones who built it. What I did find specifically about the builders was it was a elite core of people who like it was their job to make these very specific buildings. And the actual supply chain of like stone and cement and whatever else being brought from silos and storehouses may have been farmer laborers, but the actual construction was done by a elite core of effectively engineers because they saw the pyramids and other structures as so important. Only these people could do it. I believe I tweeted out about it a while ago, and I believe I posted the links to it in last week's stream. So go check those out, and you'll be able to see them. Just tweeting the stream out right now while I'm distracted, so you two gals can take over running the show while I handle that.
So, Zenny, I was right. The Egyptian woman was right about Egypt.
No, the American woman was right about Egypt.
The Egyptian-American woman who has spent a lot of time in Egypt, went to school in Egypt, lived in Egypt, has family in Egypt, was right about Egypt.
I mean, in my defense, I know plenty of Americans who have never left this freaking country, and yet they don't know a dang thing about their own history. Like, have you seen those videos of people who like walk around, like those videos are like, "Oh, howdy, Michelle, how you doing?" Of like people who will walk around like the streets and ask history questions, and you'll get the people like, "Who did we secede from in 1776? The Germans?" Or when did the Declaration of Independence get ratified? And people would be like, I think the 90s.
Those people drive me nuts.
Is that real or not?
I hope it's a spoof. Like there's things that'll pop up in my recommended feed of like Americans don't understand their own history. I'm hoping it's a spoof. Given some of the people I've met in person and given the psych textbook I had to read, the chapters in the psych textbook I had to read today, I don't think it is. I'm not going to go off about what I read in that psych textbook because it was talking about gender and sexuality and stuff. So much of it was inaccurate. Like, but even okay, you know what? I'm going to go off about it. I'm sorry.
They're getting actual medical biology wrong. Why would you be surprised if they're getting psychology wrong?
Well, but no, like here's the thing. They labeled intersex as a gender identity, as something that you can change about yourself.
No, you can't.
And then later on, like 2 or 3 paragraphs later, it discusses how intersex occurs because of physical features, like enlarged breasts in a male or a micropenis or enlarged clitoris or stuff like that. Apologies, Zenny, if I'm being a little bit too crass. I know you're fine with it in the chat. Yeah, what was that?
It's medical terminology, so
yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm just making sure because I don't want you to get. What am I kidding? You hear me in the Discord. You hear me on streams. Fuck, I don't care. I shouldn't be watching my language. I really should.
And no, intersex is very, very, very rare, and it is an actual medical issue. It is not an identity. It is. I don't even know why it's in the alphabet because it's not. It's like. No, it's an actual medical condition. It's very, very rare. And these people keep thinking, and it's an exception to the rule as well. It's not the norm. So they treat it like it's something mainstream and the norm. And it's not.
It's like trans people are like 1% of the population. Intersex people are like 0.00, maybe another 0% of the population. And if that's not bad, I'm gonna describe a statement, and I want you to tell me if it is a pure stereotype or if it is biological fact.
Oh God.
Men, on average, have superior muscle mass than women.
That is a fact.
Zenny, what do you think?
Fact.
Chat, what do you think? I'm going to tell you what, according to that textbook, is that was apparently false. Do you want to know what the correct answer, according to psychology, is in a basis of biological fact, a difference between men and women?
Oh my God.
Apparently, men are naturally better navigators.
What the fuck?
But there's no musculature difference.
Yes, there is. What the hell is wrong with these kids?
According to my college textbook, you're a bigot.
What the
I paid like $60 for this textbook.
This textbook is trash.
Like everything up until this point has been like I mean, I'm not an expert in psychology. I'm not an expert in like brain chemistry. But what rudimentary knowledge I have, everything else in this textbook seems fine. But like, because this passage is so wrong, I'm curious how much of the rest of the textbook, how much of the rest of psychology that I'm learning, that I'm paying money to learn, is factually inaccurate.
Let me just say, this is one of the things that I have spoken about because this is extremely dangerous to women because it is telling women that you are the same as men. And it has nothing to do with any identities or any of that. This is telling a woman that if you go out in the middle of the night and you get attacked by a man, you're going to be fine. You are giving women a very, very dangerous way of thinking. This is extremely dangerous. Women are going to get hurt because they're going to accept the fact that they are the same as... I believed it. from watching it in movies. The idea that
look at all the women that are getting hurt when men are out on the field. Like they're getting knocked around and all.
Field, do you mean like sports?
Sports.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure what you meant.
No, this is. I mean, I used to think that until I took karate, and I sparred against men. I went up against men, and then because I was working in a library up until then, so it didn't really make a difference. It wasn't like guys were lifting.
Yeah, that must have been a rude awakening. Younger cat. I know how to fight. I am strong. Swings a punch, gets the punch caught instantly, just gets floored by like.
No, the guy I was working with was not messing around, but he also knew, like, he was a nice guy. All right.
Yeah. No, I'm exaggerating. I'm being masterful.
No,
That's my plan.
No, but the problem is, I thought that if I faced a man, I had a chance. No.
Well, I mean,
you don't.
Okay. You do have a chance if it's someone like a weaker guy like you, Cat. Like, yeah, you're shorter, but you still I imagine you're stronger than the average woman, possibly as strong as the average man. So if you know how to handle yourself in a fight, I could see Cat, because I know that you carry a lot of heavy stuff. You've got a lot more muscle than I'm not going to say Zenny. I don't know her occupation. Than other women in the world. I think you could, against a average or below average man, I think if you know how to fight, you might be able to take a fight, Cat. But I don't know.
Yeah, but that's also in the last recent couple of years. Before I started when I first started my job, I could barely carry a 32-inch TV. That's when I first started. Now I can go with a 55. I'm not your average woman.
Yeah.
Well,
you're also shorter, so like that gives you a massive disadvantage.
But but I can tell you, when I took karate, it was before I was in this present job. I can tell you, you could feel the man holding back. You could see the man, even he was an average guy. You could see it. Even I work with a really small guy. He's stronger than me, flat out. So this is a very, very, very dangerous way of thinking, is putting women who haven't done a job working with men, physical job, who haven't sparred with men, into a situation where they think, yeah, I'll be fine. And then the guy just pounds or hits her once and she's on the floor.
Yeah. Zenny, you got any opinions on that?
Men are typically stronger than women. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. One other thing that I was thinking about while Kat was bringing that up is you've also got women will make stupid decisions in regards to how they react around men. Like at my workplace, for example, the locker in the break room was mostly dudes. I was like with a group of dudes. I said some joke. I can't even remember what the joke was because it's like it was so innocuous and so like I have said worse in that break room. There are people who have said worse than I will ever say in that break room. This girl hears it. She walks up and slaps me. Like my first reaction was fist clenched, swing. I kept myself from the swing part, despite everyone telling me equal rights, equal lefts. Like
there is no equal rights, equal lefts.
Yeah, there's not. Like if I were to like even if I were to just slap her, that would do a lot more damage. Like she read into my cheek. I hit her. I do more than red in her cheek. But she doesn't get that. She didn't get that. And I understand that, hey, it's not her fault that she doesn't understand that. Society's been telling women like her most of her life that you can stand up to a man. Like it's the double standard of a guy will never hit a girl, but girls are just as dangerous as guys. No, we are more dangerous.
Yeah, no.
We can kill with bare hands if we wanted to. That's why we don't hit women. Because if we did, if we treated women the same way we treat our bros, there'd be a lot more women in the emergency room.
All right. There was an article. I don't know who did it. I think it was from The Quartering. Just came today. He was doing a video. It's about a dude who decided to prove Canada wrong. Guy said, no, everyone's like, no, you can't just change your identity and compete. You decide to prove that they were wrong. Guy with a full beard goes up, registers as a woman, easily goes 100 pounds over the maximum for women. Full on beard just doesn't even have to train or anything. Look.
But Kat, if you take estrogen for like 6 months, that'll totally get rid of the bone density and muscular increases from going through a male puberty, Kat. Like you don't.
It isn't even male puberty.
Kat, look, okay, it's not like you have a medical degree. It's not like you took biology in college.
I took biology. I don't have a medical degree, but I did take biology.
Oh, you took a community college biology course? That's cute.
No.
By the way, I'm playing a character. I'm not actually attacking Kat. Kat's probably smarter than me.
I took a community college course in human physiology. And I got an A+ and was one of the top students in the class. No, I did take a biology class at Rutgers. So, State University.
5'8"? 5'8". Weapon or no weapon, Michelle? Also, like, do you have an occupation that you're lifting a lot of heavy stuff, or are you working out a lot? Because, like, 5'8", I believe that's either the average or below average the American male height. Weapon, if you've got a weapon and he doesn't have a weapon, odds are you win that fight just because weapons are amazing. I would say it comes down to like how strong you are in this regard. But I imagine most men would probably win a fight against you because you're shorter. Reach gives a lot of an advantage.
Look, I will say this: I am not your average woman. I am on the stronger side, and I will tell you, I won't fight a man. I will not fight a man. The 70-year-old guy I work with is stronger than me. Okay.
Well, yeah, because don't mess with an old man in a young man's game.
No. I would say you would have to be someone like Gina Carano, a woman who works out at the gym, to be able to stand up against a man.
Okay.
And you know what? I cannot believe your school is allowing this crap to be taught in the classroom. That is ridiculously stupid, and your school is that is just ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, my professor was referring to an unborn child as a baby, and educated us on the fact that after like 8 weeks, there's a heartbeat. So I'm pretty sure the professor's based and she's just using a shitty textbook, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay. Well, yeah, Samuel. Samuel, I understand that. That's why I was trying to gauge where, like, Michelle, like, because if she goes up against someone, like a guy, for example, who doesn't work out, who's on the shorter side, is, like, unaggressive. Yeah, I think, well, Michelle, you're like average or below average male height. Most guys are going to be taller than you.
Your size won't help when it comes down to it. People don't. First off, I do want to ask Sandy Biscuit after I eat about the cricket machine because I'm really curious to know more about it. But that aside, the cricket machine, anyway, just that aside, women don't realize just how big and muscular men are unless they've just been close to them. Men have very wide shoulders compared to women. Their body is built differently. Their mass is built differently. I was watching something, I think it was from Tim Pool, where they were pointing out that a woman, no matter what she takes, will have narrow shoulders and wide hips. Even if she takes tea, you can't change that because your bones are different. Your hips are your bones. No matter where your fat goes, your hips are going to be wider. Men, even before they go into puberty, they have been getting testosterone in the womb, all of that side. Men are going to have wider shoulders, narrower hips, because the hips, again, you can't change that. That's how they identify your body, what sex you are, when they find bodies that have no skin or anything on it. So there's just try to, like, have your husband stand and try to push him. You'll feel the difference. You'll feel the strength. I work with guys who and just you feel the difference. You don't realize just how the difference between a man and a woman until you try to move a man or feel their muscles. It's a massive difference. And for you to have a textbook that tells you it is not, is the height of idiocy, and this is what's leading to the downfall of America. You cannot advance scientifically if you have the basics of science wrong. And this is something that we have known for millennia.
Yeah.
You
Makes
can't.
me think of an amazing quote. It doesn't really apply here specifically, but I think it's a pretty good one in general. Anyway. If you divide your thinkers and your fighters, your thinking will be done by cowards and your fighting will be done by idiots. Same thing applies. If your thinking is done by people who don't who don't experience it in a practical way, you're going to be getting idiots doing all the thinking, and all the intelligent people aren't going to be leaving behind that knowledge. One quick thing before we continue. Zenny, Samuel says hi.
Hi, Samuel.
Yeah, he's based. Yeah, Kat, continue. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, you weren't cutting me off. That was all I was saying. It's just, as I said, it surprises you. You need to just stand next to a man, and then you'll see that massive feel. Yeah, anyway. That is just embarrassing. Your school should be embarrassed. The author, personally, when this is over, I'd love to, you know what? Send me a screenshot of that page and send me the cover of that book, because I want to send.
It's not a physical book. It's a digital. Thankfully, I didn't have to buy the actual physical book. We use a software called Top Hat, and then like all the learning information is built in. I'll send a screenshot of some of the stuff.
I want to send an email to
spicy take. I'm Zenny. I say you react to this spicy take, so I'm gonna get canceled for this, but I'll say it anyway. We're just built different. Women for childbirth and men for combat. Period. Zenny, what are your thoughts?
Facts.
Yeah.
Totally.
And she's from the South. The South, they've got. If there's any population in America known for a martial culture, it's them. So if anyone knows about the difference between combat and childbirth, it'd be Zenny.
Oi, what about the New Jerseyans? We gotta be built for combat. We're a joke.
New Jerseyans are like Italians. They're designed for criminality, according to a book I read. So actually, really funny story. I was doing research on gangsters for a paper at one point, and I read that the consensus of the Italian people back in like the 1920s was that God had specifically made the Italians to be criminals because they were naturally more aggressive and better at stealing than other kinds of Europeans. And that's just like, now I want to know what the stereotypes for like French people or Spaniards or freaking Poles were at the time, because that's just freaking hysterical.
Okay, that is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's hilarious. It's not based because it's horrible, but it's funny. But I mean,
yeah, why would that be horrible? I have some Italian blood in me. I think that's awesome.
Well, but no, like the idea that an entire population of people can be described as criminals because of a small subset being criminals is.
Yeah, but the ones who can't be described as criminals will be like, you know what? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
Versa won't die.
Yeah, no, Samuel, we haven't been taken down yet, I don't think, so I don't think your comment was too inflammatory.
Anyway, that aside.
Well, it's something I learned back when I started riding horses. It's men typically have their strongest muscles in their shoulders, whereas women have their strongest muscles in like their hips.
Yeah. Wait, did that make horseback riding easier for you?
No.
No?
It's a lot of leg muscle.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Actually, that was a stupid question. Apologies. You've never been able to budge him. Are you sure he doesn't have any like Slav in him? Because the Slavs are pretty freaking brutal people.
No, but that's not even. That has nothing to do with brutality. I can tell you, Shadow, even with your lack of exercise and your weight, that you probably I can't.
Lack of exercise.
Well, you've been starting recently compared to me, Shadow.
I was also relatively before COVID. I was relatively consistent. It was just COVID fucked me.
Yeah, but that was for 2 years, Shadow. And
compared
to me, Shadow, compared to me, you don't exercise. Okay, I bike 5 miles every day. That's the minimum.
6 months ago, yes, but now like a lot more exercise.
Yeah, but even I'm telling you, even with you're not lifting as much as I do, even if even with, and I know you're exercising, I still don't think I have a chance against you at all.
Oh, you definitely don't, because you're teeny tiny.
Oh, I hate you so much.
Well, no, because height it's not necessarily the height that gives it's an advantage, but it's the fact that taller people have longer arms. If you have a longer arm, you can, project violence away from you, and the other person, if they have smaller arms, needs to get closer, exposing them to another person's ability to observe violence. It's the fact that
you're harder to budge, you're on your feet, you weigh more. That's one other thing.
Samuel, I am working out. I either run along streets to get my run in, which I mean that's most people do, or I have a freaking pull. Hold on, let me get my fucking pull up.
God damn it, Shadow.
Let me get my pull up bar. Sorry, no, this bothers me.
I have a pull up bar. Yeah. Jenny, he's crazy. Yeah. Help me.
This is my bless this house. This is my pull up bar. I've got a pull up bar. I do push ups, sit ups, planks, all that jazz in my room.
He's adorable. Don't tell him I said that. He's adorable.
I can hear you.
How can you hear me?
Because I'm using a speaker, cat.
Oh. Okay. I didn't say anything.
I heard you clear as day.
Chat, right? I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. I have no idea what you're talking about. These kids these days hearing voices. You know what? He's right.
COVID is to blame for me not going to CrossFit anymore, and then me being a lazy fucker is what kept me from working out of my house. So yeah, I'll say you're 80% right, Samuel.
Well, I didn't give up working. Everyone else did. I didn't.
I got laid off.
You got laid. Did you get your job back or not?
Oh yeah, it's in our contract. If they lay us off, they have to call us back.
I got furloughed, and so while I was furloughed from one job, I picked up another one because I wasn't staying home. Nobody tells me what I can and can't do.
Actually, something really funny happened to me. So I was technically still employed by the city, which kept me from getting like the unemployment benefits for so how like people were getting unemployment benefits.
Oh God, the unemployment benefits were insane.
I didn't get any of that because I was still I was getting paid like half my salary, I think, or something like that, to like keep me on a retainer, keep me ready for when they reopen to like go back and work. So I wasn't able to file for the unemployment benefits because I was still technically an employee of the city.
Oh damn!
I wouldn't have taken the money anyway because I didn't need it. There were other My mom was a nurse. My dad's job was
beside the point. Shadow. I got furloughed, but before I got furloughed, I got a second job. So I was able to collect unemployment because my primary job was furloughed and get paid for my second job. So, and the unemployment alone lost furloughed from. And because I started a second job at the same time, I was still able to collect unemployment for my first job. So I was making more money on unemployment than my job, the one that I'd gotten furloughed from.
That's how that works.
That's not how it normally works. Normally, unemployment is less, a lot less. It's a fraction. So what they did was not the norm. They gave you I know people who were like, every person I know who got furloughed. First off, all the people who didn't get furloughed, which was a handful of people, were so mad they didn't get furloughed. Every single person I know who got furloughed got paid more money from unemployment than if they had worked. And that's just the unemployment alone.
I can speak for that. Because originally it was what we were getting for unemployment less than what we get paid for at work. And usually we have this thing in our contract with it's called sub pay, and they'll pay us like X amount to cover the rest of the So it kind of comes out to what we were making when we were employed. So we didn't really lose out on anything, but we only got 13 weeks of that. I don't know if that made any sense.
No, I guess they gave you what the difference of that, and then the state didn't fill in later on, because that's what happened. I mean, damn, I could not believe the amount they were just. It was insane. And then they would randomly give you stimulus checks, which I, by the way, did my job and remained patriotic and loyal and used it to stimulate the economy by buying an Xbox and a PlayStation.
Yes. Good American value. Purchase luxury good.
No,
good
well, we got the first stimulus check early in the year, right? Consoles didn't come out until November. So I put the money in an account separate, and I didn't spend it. I could have spent it, but I didn't. So I kept it aside because I knew that the consoles were coming out later that year, and I wanted to be able to buy both of them. So I thought ahead. Use my head. So anyway, that aside, Shadow, you've been hearing good things about this Dungeons and Dragons movie that's supposed to be emasculating men.
So I heard, so I saw Shad's video where it's like a clickbaity thumbnail, clickbaity title. I hop in, and he and the two guys that were with him, I think it was Nathan and Tyrant, whatever it is, and they're like, it was surprisingly good. And then I turned it off because I didn't want spoilers. Well, I checked the comments first. One comment was basically like, the guys didn't come off as emasculated, more so they came off as childish.
That's
so like when I mean, but like, to be fair, like if you're in like a Discord call with like young guys, like guys in my generation, we're fucking childish. So I don't know why they chose emasculated. Granted, I didn't see Shad's opinion on it because I didn't want to get the movie spoiled for me, because Shad says it's good, I'm gonna watch it. Like, because Shad is stricter in regards to his quality control than me.
And I agree.
So if Shad says it's good, that means it's probably worth watching. And even with the whole like emasculated shit, I was still gonna watch it because like I don't know. Like, I mean, like they could have just been using a strong word, or they could have just been idiots. Like, I still think it's a stupid thing to say, but people say stupid things, not fully meaning to say what they said, if that makes sense.
Or maybe they just
wasn't going to watch it legally.
Maybe they did a bad job of emasculating men, and they thought they were so great at emasculating. These kids are stupid in Hollywood. No, I'm not watching it because I want to watch the Super Mario movie.
Yeah. Well, I also want to watch John. Actually, my dad, brother, and I are watching John Wick when I go home for Easter, so that's gonna be fun. We're gonna watch a movie about blood and violence, and then I'm gonna go hear about the Lord.
With more blood and violence.
Hey, look, okay, if you read the Old Testament, there's a good amount of blood and violence there.
Oh, currently,
yeah. Just got done with the bit about Moses leading them out of the wilderness. They killed a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I think enough for a genocide, actually. Haven't even gotten to Judges yet. So when I reread that, oh boy, Samson. Samson. We need another Samson, boys and girls. We need another tall, long-haired lunatic to kill people with donkey bones.
Trace Atkins?
What?
Trace Atkins.
Trace Atkins.
Is he the Atkins diet guy?
No, he's a country singer. 6'6", long hair.
Yeah, I think I know. I think Yeah, I fucking love that song.
Wait,
it's just so stupid. I love it. Get the sheriff on the phone. Lord of mercy. Yeah, no, I love. Whenever I'm in a country mood, his songs are some of the ones that pop into like the playlist I make.
I know that name. I think I've seen him as well on a cereal box.
What?
Probably.
Maybe. Or no,
there's also
I don't know.
The Atkins, there's also like Atkins, which is a like a food company. They make like low calorie, low sugar meals that you can like pop in the microwave.
Because it's based on the Atkins diet.
Yeah.
There's Atkins, and then this is Trace Adkins with a D.
Ah.
Yeah.
I went to one of his concerts years ago, and oh my gosh, I got right up to the stage, and I got to hold on to his hand, and oh my god!
Whoa, cool! I've never been to a concert. I have never been to a concert.
Neither have I. But damn, Zenny, that's tight. It's awesome.
I've never. Yeah, so I don't know. Is anybody saying anything? Because I'm not even paying attention to the comments. My brain.
No.
About the Super Mario, not the Super Mario, the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
No, Samuel is mentioning about pre-COVID unemployment typically paid out 60% of your salary, or paid less than 60% of your salary. But like, if you look at this, and a lot of people I know who are socialists up here get pissed at me when I bring this up because they think it's a straw man argument. It's not. It's really not. You can not just live, but you can live relatively comfortably off of unemployment and single mother benefits in this country. You just gotta
no, because it depends on
it depends on your definition of comfort.
No, it's not. It depends on. I mean, maybe I'm thinking of pre-COVID time, but pre-COVID, you cannot stay on unemployment unending. Eventually, they will stop it.
They're supposed to, but like there are ways to like game the system. Like you get a job for a bit and then you stop having the job. Like there are ways. It's like rich people and getting around taxes. Like there are ways to screw the system because it's a bureaucracy. It's an overbloated bureaucracy with people who hate their lives, who hate their jobs, and just want to get their job done. So things slip through the cracks, and there are plenty of ways to game the system, costing you, the American taxpayer, hard-earned money.
Don't get me started.
Why did I turn into a radio host for a second?
I don't know.
Who's clapping? No, I heard clap. Wait, was that
in your head? Shadow, it's in your head. That might have
been me moving around.
Okay, that might have been it.
It's in your head, Shadow. Everything's in your head.
I mean, I'm going to use this one example Samuel provided to prove my point is 100% factual and totally not just me misremembering information from 3 different sources.
All right. So let me tell you my pre-COVID unemployment experience. So after I left a school program, I was unemployed. So I tried to get unemployment. Now, because I didn't resign, because I had resigned to go to school instead of was fired, I wasn't eligible for unemployment. In order for me to get some kind of welfare or anything, I needed 1 month of work training. Now, this was stupid because I had a freaking college degree. Man, I had been working for several years. You want me to take before I could get any kind of assistance, food stamps or anything, right? I had to do 6 months, a 1 month training on working. It's like, excuse me, I have, first of all, a bachelor's degree. And second of all, I've been working. Nope. I could not get anything. So it frustrated me because it was like everyone talks about how it's so easy to get it. And I couldn't get anything. The only thing, it was ridiculously frustrating.
Well, you also weren't, from the sound of it at least, you also weren't raised in like a community where getting unemployment checks and getting single parent checks and they're like the people who are predominantly doing this, they come from families or communities where that's like a way to make money. Like, so they know how to do it. They know how to game the system and they tell their kids how to game the system. So you weren't going in with that knowledge. You were going in as someone who rightfully should. Yeah. Also, what Samuel's talking about is, but like, I'm going to use the Black community as a very good example, is because I have the statistics off the top of my head. Before you instituted a lot of these policies, the Black community was relatively homogenous. You had like, there was poverty. It was really, really crappy living conditions. Don't get me wrong, but you still had like the father and mother and the kids being raised in like that tight sense of community. And then you had all these, now obviously there were other factors than just welfare coming in. I'm aware of that, but like welfare comes into the picture. Single mothers getting money from the government came into the picture. Fathers were removed. The families kind of broke down. And then without a father to rear these kids properly, they turned to being wild animals, and then eventually that coalesced into a level of criminality. Now, obviously, this isn't exclusive to the Black community. This isn't the unemployment, welfare, all that stuff isn't exclusively the reason that caused this, but this is a community that I know more about the situation of. That's why I use the example, and welfare played a major part, but obviously there were other factors involved, because nothing is as simple as that person did it or this thing did it. That's what we need to stop.
No, I listened to a video where they said, yeah, in the 1960s, majority of Black people were married and who had kids, and it came from a solid foundation. And now it's the opposite. Personally, I have very little patience. I'm sorry, but if you can't keep it in your pants, I mean, come on, self-control, people. I'm sorry. I have no patience, no pity, no compassion for someone who can't keep it in their pants. And then they come to me and they go, but I can't afford, and I have a baby. And it's like, yeah, well, you were stupid enough to not be able to keep it in your pants. I mean, there are a lot of Muslims who know that the rule is no sex before marriage.
Not just Muslims, people in general, like Christians, Jewish people, Muslims, Buddhists, like pretty much not since the dawn of like not marrying at the age of 13, it's pretty common cause that you don't knock a girl up or you don't get knocked up till you have a stable financial situation.
It's pretty common that you have a sense of self-control and you don't go around sleeping like an animal. Yeah. I'm sorry. I know this is something that a lot of non-Muslims don't like. Look, I have no sympathy. I am sorry, but I have no sympathy.
Not just non-Muslims.
Yeah, but people will get mad at me because I know a lot of this whole hookup culture thing. It's like, yeah, well, the Muslim, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I have absolutely no sympathy for you. Why the hell am I paying for your Planned Parenthood nonsense? Because you couldn't keep it.
Zenny, what's your take on that? Not the comment Samuel just posted, but like the general conversation.
I agree with Kat.
See, Kat, not just Muslims have an issue with hookup culture, even Christians.
I know a lot of non-Muslims don't have an issue either, but I'm always, when it comes up, it's always like, should I be careful? Did they go around, before, when they were younger and they're looking at me like, oh my God, she's, being so rude. It's like, yeah, but every time you engage in these activities, you have a chance of just no.
Yeah. That's like people get on my case about like why aren't you seeking it? Because like in the culture that I'm around in college, it's expected that like if you start going out with someone, sex is a component. I don't want to deal with that until I've paid off my student loans, until I have a house, until I have a stable career. I don't want the risk of either best case scenario dealing with a child or worst case scenario dealing with a bitch demanding money from me and not letting me see said child. So yeah, like it's one of those things where like a lot of people in my generation and a little bit older than me don't think about the long term. Like
which is why you don't give them drugs and stuff at the age of 13.
Yeah. Well, no, it's because like they're not being given a good sense of reality. Like you don't like until I came to college, I didn't fully understand the price of things. Like before I came to college, I thought, wow, $100, that's a lot of money. Now that I'm in college, $100 is like 4 or 5 meals for me. And that's probably because I'm eating too much. Realistically, that should be like 6 or 7 meals. But I'm also like buying I'm also not like buying microwavable meals. If I was like, my point is my generation in regards to financials, we don't understand finances until we're up shit creek without a paddle. We don't understand. We're partly because we're so repressed, but also we don't fully understand the context of things. We get an inch of freedom and we go batshit crazy. Sex, drugs, alcohol, violence, and you make a ton of horrible mistakes and you can't do a Moses.
No, I don't think so. I think the problem with your generation is they expect things to be given to them.
Yeah, exactly. Lot of them. Like we don't understand reality. That's my point.
it's not even that. It's not even that they don't understand realities. They just expect things to be given to them, that they deserve it, and they're a victim of some concept, something or another. Those poor babies. We need to give them everything. And you know what? The reality is nobody cares.
Well, no. So I think the victim thing is I think the victim thing is twofold. The first thing is it's a coping mechanism for the world being harder than they expected, and then the second thing is a lot of these people grew up on and were enamored by stories where there is a clear hero and a clear villain, and 9 times out of 10, the hero is some victimized underdog. It is the Mudblood or the Half-Blood in Harry Potter. It is the rebellion in Star Wars. It is the humans in Lord of the Rings, not fully understanding the humans are a feudal society. They think of themselves as, okay, my life is hard. Why? There must be something bad. Bad people are domineering. Good people are underdogs. Ergo, I'm a victim of something. What am I? Well, people who are good people have something different about them. What is different about me? This. That must mean I am a victim because of this factor of me. And then they propagate this ideology to other people around them. And because they're idiots who don't understand the world, they agree with it. And then this spirals out of control where you have people who are perfectly normal but don't want to be bad come up with a reason why they're a victim and make themselves good. And this isn't like they're consciously going and looking through. It's all subconscious. It's not rational thought because it's just the way their brain is wired to think this way. It's actually kind of sad.
I don't know, and I'm just too tired to think. I just don't know, but I'm tired of the whole thing. And
when can you make some ramen?
Soon. And I'm not having ramen. I'm having dinner. Ramadan is when I eat the best because I have dinner with. That's why I'm going to be gone for a while.
Yeah, you're with your family. What are you eating tonight?
I don't know. I do know.
You gotta know. You gotta.
No, it's always a surprise.
Gotcha. While we're on the topic of food, chat, post what you're eating for dinner tonight or what you ate for dinner tonight. Zenny?
Had some Wendy's.
Wendy's. What'd you get from Wendy's?
I don't think they have this new grilled chicken wrap.
You know,
only thing I ever got from Wendy's was like this burger with like a pretzel bun.
Mm-hmm.
A friend was driving through Wendy's and she's like, "Hey, you want something?" And I'm like, "Sure." And I bought like this pretzel bun to burger, and I had jalapenos added or something like that.
I've never had Wendy's.
Yeah, it's fast food.
Yeah, I've never had
I'm gonna be after the stream. I'm gonna be making pasta. I'm gonna be making some. I was thawing out some frozen chicken, and I got a crap ton of different vegetable medleys to cook, which should be fun. A lot of different seasonings, a lot of different slices. A new sauce flavor that I haven't tried before. It's like a spicy marinara. I think it should be good. Yo, great minds think alike. Samuel had the exact same thing as Zenny.
I've never had Chipotle either, though I don't know what the big deal is about Chipotle.
Chipotle is overrated.
What is it?
I have no clue what it is either.
It's like Tex-Mex. It's like...
What is Tex-Mex?
Like
oh, no, I know what Tex-Mex is.
American-style Mexican food.
Yeah, I know what Tex-Mex is. So, wait.
Yeah, it's like healthier than normal Tex-Mex. That's...
Ooh, I like the Tex-Mex.
Yeah. Like, my reason I don't go to Chipotle is I can find... like. When it comes to like Mexican food, I honestly prefer hole in the walls because like you get better food if you go to like if you don't go to a chain, you'll get better Mexican food. But like I'm fine going to like a chain for barbecue or Chinese food, but like specifically Mexican food, I don't know what it is. I can't eat chain Mexican food. Like it's got to be a mom pop shop for me. I don't know why. I love
Taco Bell.
I hate Taco Bell.
Everyone seems to hate it except for me.
Yeah, because you only go to Taco Bell when it's like 2 a.m. and you're drunk.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Totally makes sense that the Muslim.
I only go to Taco Bell at 2 a.m. when I'm drunk.
Yeah, totally makes sense. The Muslim.
God damn! How did you know, Shadow? How did you know? How did you know?
You totally order like the pork taco. Do they even have pork tacos at Taco Bell?
I have no clue. Technically, I don't even get the beef because it's not. We don't know if it's kosher or halal or anything like that. I got a forma.
Chicken because at least that's actual meat. Chipotle
I love the beef.
Is a sauce. Yeah, I knew it was a sauce. I didn't realize the restaurant named itself after the sauce. That is not my experience at all, Samuel. That is, I honestly, when I'd go to Subway, I would, back when I first had a job and I was like eating out like twice or 3 times a week, I'd go to Subway and I would get like a cheesesteak wrap, and I would always have them add jalapenos and the Chipotle sauce, because I liked getting punched in the face when I was eating food. And I love the Chipotle sauce.
Why would you want to?
Because I like spicy food. And because I'm white, spicy food punches me in the face when I eat it.
Okay. I did not know that.
That's just that's horrible stereotyping, by the way. That's like like the white people can't handle spicy food is, I mean, it's a fairly accurate stereotype, at least in the US, but you know, it's still
maybe
a stereotype.
For you.
What?
Maybe for you.
Yeah.
It just comes down to like what
spicy food.
What?
I constantly eat spicy food.
Oh, I do as well. I love spicy. Like I absolutely love spicy food. Like fried chicken, I love getting spicy. Like if I could get the spiciest fried chicken without crying, I would. I can't. So I get the second spiciest fried chicken, and I cry only a little bit when I do that. But no, I love spicy food.
All right, I think I heard the call to prayer, so I'm going to go eat. I will be back.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'll
correct,
be back
Samuel. I am a female dog.
I don't know how to turn off the camera.
Yeah, I'll move you to I'll also take you off the I'll move you from the stream so you can hop back in when you're ready.
You don't want to show off my corpus?
No, I don't. I really don't.
I don't want to show. I just know. You know what?
She's gonna kill me when she comes back. All right. Topics. Oh yeah. You mentioned horse racing.
Yeah, there's a bunch of horse racing going on because you got prep races for the Kentucky Derby and all.
Gotcha. I remember you mentioning that, like, at least in the Discord chat, you rode horses, and I think you owned 3, right?
Yeah, not at the same time, but
not at the same time, but you owned horses. Were you ever like a competitive rider?
Kinda. It was mostly local shows, so.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. Well, chat, I don't really have many topics planned. The one I really want to talk about, I cannot talk about because I don't want bad things to happen to the channel. A summary of the bad thing that I'm talking about. A verminous piece of garbage killed some people, and we're having to debate on whether or not that the verminous piece of garbage should be described as a verminous piece of garbage. And some assholes are defending the verminous piece of garbage who butchered innocent people for no reason. And that's where I'm going to leave it, because if I go any further, I'm going to go on a rant. And I don't want to go on a rant because I like having a channel. Zenny, you got any like current events you're interested in talking about? I know Kat wants to talk about Zelda.
I'm not a Zelda person.
Yeah. Well, I mean, waiting for Kat to get back. TV shows, movies, anything that you're excited for coming up?
Oh, good grief.
Loaded question. I apologize.
Probably that Oppenheimer movie. That looks interesting.
Oppenheimer. 2020. I have not heard of this.
You haven't?
No. I mean, I know about the Manhattan Project. I just didn't know they were making a movie about it. Huh.
Yeah, I think in June or something.
That makes sense. Summer is when a lot of movies come out just because like they can take advantage of the summer break. All right, I'm hopping onto Twitter. See if there's like any. I mean, there's like the Trump indictment, but like that's last week's news. No, not last week's. That's earlier in the week's news. No, yeah, that is last week's news. Never mind. That was last week. What am I talking about? I mean, I could start asking you questions about like the Civil War, but I don't want this channel getting deleted for a different reason. Yeah, sorry about that one time we were on stream and I was like, I kept bringing that up. I don't know why. It just was really funny for me. Oh, here's one actually. Here's one that I think is interesting to talk about that I just pulled off Twitter. Zenny, chat, what are your thoughts on this?
Well,
no opinion.
What do you expect?
Not much. And I'm scrolling down, and there's something else that makes me want to talk about the thing, but I don't want to talk about the thing.
That thing on Saturday?
No, the aftermath of the thing. Specifically, people who think that the Verminous piece of garbage was justified arguing that they were a victim because a friend died or something. And now you have people going, my heart goes out to the trans community who is under attack by a bunch of crazy Christians. Like, I don't want to bring it up. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Come on, give me some news. Everything is just Warhammer memes or the event in my freaking Twitter chain. Yeah. This was a bad week to have you on just because like there's nothing we could talk about going on.
Well, it's Secretariat's birthday, so.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah. He's from Virginia.
Yeah. You want to talk about Secretariat while I try to find some topic?
I am not an expert on that, but I know that this marks the 50th anniversary of his Triple Crown run. He still holds the race record for all 3 races and all. Unfortunately, his owner, Penny Chinnery, is no longer with us. She passed several years ago, I think in 14, I think.
That's rough. Yeah. Why am I remembering scenes from the Black Beauty movie that we're talking about Secretariat?
I have no clue.
I don't know either. My brain is like a weird thing. That's a weird article. Have you been keeping up with the? I'm not watching The Mandalorian, but I'd be down to talk about how I knew it was going to be a shit show.
I don't have Disney Plus. I don't care for Disney at all right now.
Oh, Sam, you want to talk about Disney being a piece of shit company?
Well, that pretty much covers everything, doesn't it?
We can get into specifics.
From the remakes of their live action or animated movies into live action and doing all this nonsense. Like,
yeah.
It's just Peter Pan. It's not Peter Pan and Wendy. We don't need to add Wendy onto the title.
You also don't need Lost Thems. You just need Lost Boys. It's so stupid. Yeah. Actually, it was a while ago, but there was I actually want to run this idea by you because I think you might. So there was someone was like posted in response to the Ariel casting. When will we get a princess that's pro open carry? We Americans deserve to be represented. And there was and I suggested either imagine like some Southern belle during the Civil War or like the Civil War is going on. What?
You got Tiana, who's from Louisiana and all.
Yeah, but that's post Civil War, right?
True. It's 1920.
Yeah, that's like yeah. Well, actually, speaking of Tiana. Yeah, no, like normally I do. There's just nothing to talk about. Like Mandalorian, the only thing to talk about The Mandalorian for me is I was right. It was going to be shit, and no one believed me. I got so much shit from my family, from a few people in the community, from Reddit, and I wasn't on Twitter at that point, I don't think. And like, I was like, I can tell by this trailer, Din is no longer going to be the focus. The verse is going to be shrunk down, and it's going to like there's going to be too much focus on one part of the galaxy. There's not going to be much interest going on. It's going to try to like tie in what is a simpler story into a greater narrative, and they're going to bring back some Clone Wars character or some like Boba Fett or Kenobi character. My bets were Sabine Wren and Reva. I still think at least one of them is going to show up in this freaking Walmart of a show. And episode 1, I wasn't entirely vindicated. Episode 2, kind of vindicated it. The last couple of episodes, I was totally vindicated, in my opinion, that it was going to be bloated garbage that spends more time making the verse way too small and connecting every single character that ever lived to every single character that ever lived. Yes, Tiana is based on Slavic. Princess and the Frog is based on Slavic folklore, but I mean,
they gave her own character.
Yeah, like they took an existing story, like they basically did what Shakespeare did with Macbeth. No, not Macbeth. Hamlet.
Mm-hmm. With Lion King and all.
I use the verse. No, I picked up the verse from a YouTuber by the name of the XP Gamer. He's like in his 40s, I think. So I don't know, Samuel. I'm saying the verse because it's snappy off the tongue. The verse. But like Tiana's based on an existing story, but so was Hamlet. Hamlet was based on the story of Amleth.
Hamlet's kind of similar to the story of Horus and Set from Egyptian mythology, because you had the nephew fighting the uncle for rule over the land and all.
Yeah, like that. I mean, you're gonna like when you break down human thought and human philosophy, there's a lot of very similar stories that make sense because it's very like every culture has an underworld, every culture has a devil, every culture has a death. The weird part is when you get into like most cultures have a flood myth. Most cultures have like dragons of some kind. Most cultures have like powerful serpents. Like there are some things where it's like, how did this happen? This makes no sense. Why do you all have this?
Well, it's a lot like the Yeti and the Sasquatch. Like, how do these two cultures know about these similar creatures?
Well, with Sasquatch, I blame that on just being near humans, honestly. Like Neanderthal type things. I don't care. I'm going to call it the verse. But actually, back to Tiana, because honestly, if they wanted like a black princess for people to look up to, why haven't we gotten live action Tiana yet?
Mm-hmm. I really like Tiana. I love Princess and the Frog. I love the music and all.
Yeah, it's got some absolute freaking Friends on the Other Side. I still listen to that song.
Mm-hmm.
I might re-listen to some of the soundtrack just because I need to cheer myself up. I need to be in a happy mood. Actually, a really funny thing that I am not ashamed to admit about, on Reddit and Twitter, 2 times each, I wrote a paragraph explaining why Tiana is the best role model character out of the Disney Princess lineup and breaking down why all the others are not. I'm a straight dude in my 20s. That is not something I should be writing. My excuse is I have a younger sister who loved those movies, and my memory remembers everything about every movie I've ever seen. So that's my excuse. I can feel the Samuel insult incoming.
Well, Tiana and Merida are my 2 favorite Disney princesses.
I mean, same. Like I mostly like Merida because I like the Scots.
I got a lot of Scotch ancestry.
Yep. Scotch ancestry, like Scott or Scotch, because one of those is an alcohol. Yes, I am straight, Samuel.
Well,
yeah. Like my biggest, like I absolutely love Brave as a movie. My biggest complaint with it though is like, it doesn't feel like Merida really grows as a character too much. Like, yeah, she makes up with her mother, but it feels more like it's the mother that needed to learn a lesson, which would be fine if the movie focused on the mother and not as much on Merida. You know, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think it would have been better if like it ended with like Merida and the mother like sitting down and like doing some like lady of the court type stuff with Merida in a like one of the more conservative dresses that she had to wear, and then it like ends with them riding off. Like she's learned to be more formal and ladylike, and the mother's learned to like let it out a little bit, you know?
Yeah. But they had like a couple directors on the movie, so
yeah,
a lot of ideas got.
It's still a good movie. I still really like Merida as a character. I just think that's one thing that would have made the movie better.
Yeah.
Spock's back. Yeah, it kind of was. I mean, I've expressed that I like slower stories, and Brave is relatively, going off my memory at least, it's a relatively slow, methodical story compared to some other stuff we got in the modern day, so that might be why. I am just talking about a Disney princess movie. I don't have the excuse of saying my sister made me watch that. I watched that one because I wanted to watch it not fairly recently, like a year ago, but yeah. Yeah. I mean, in my defense, I watched Hercules first, which is like the epitome of the macho male Sigma grind set film.
I grew up with those movies, so I can't say much.
Oh, I grew up with them as well because my parents were good and we had those DVDs.
DVDs.
Yep.
I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, well, some of us weren't exactly alive. There was some substance. Not much, but some. The Three Brothers could have been cut from the movie and I wouldn't have hated it. Well, you're bullshit, Samuel. He's never invited me back to any of his shows. I can feel it. I can feel. Yeah. Since we're on the topic of movies, what would you say is your favorite movie of all time?
All time?
Yeah.
Okay. I have no clue because I have so many that I've enjoyed from my childhood and movies that I've been watching now, like the old 1940s, 1930s, even silent film movies that I've been watching.
Yeah, some of those are really good. I had to watch them for film class. Oh, there was like having less resources available to you made these films better because they had to like think, how am I going to do this shot? How am I going to do this character with the technology I have on hand? And they had to innovate. And now you just get people to stand in front of a green screen.
I know, like, I'm fascinated by Lon Chaney's makeup in the Phantom of the Opera. Like, he did all that by himself with latex and all this other stuff. Like, today we just slap a green screen on and
or you don't even do that. You don't even do that. You just get like a guy and you spray paint him white, put a couple of red lines on him, and you call him a different alien. Like we have regressed from like Star Trek used to be people with like different hats, and that's an alien. And now we're back to in Star Wars, which is known for its aliens, guys in hats.
Pretty much.
Okay, see, my understanding of Sigma is it's just outside the hierarchy. Clearly, I've been lied to, or Samuel is smoking something out of his ass, like that one guy he knows. But yeah, no, it's utterly baffling to me that you. I mean, no, I understand the reason why. It's because people are able to be lazy, but like you have so many tools available to people in the modern day. Like you could make another Lord of the Rings trilogy type fantasy film for much cheaper than the trilogy was made for, because they had to invent a ton of stuff, and yet people don't do that. We get Rings of Power, which looks worse is written worse, acted worse.
The poor horse got put down.
Yeah, I heard about that. Poor
that is
animal.
an unfortunate. That's an unfortunate thing with horses. They're so fragile, and one wrong step and it's another Barbaros situation.
It's actually one thing about elephants that is really interesting to me is like they'll never lay down because they can't get back up. Their anatomy doesn't let them. It's scary to think about how vulnerable even humans are, like animals in general, especially humans, are to damage and death and all that.
Yeah.
Nihilism, Shadow, go away. Yeah. And it's not like the horse died for a good cause either. It died for rings of power.
I know.
Like you could have at least died for the new Peter Jackson trilogy that is apparently going to come out.
I'm not a big Lord of the Rings person, so I don't know much about that.
Well, neither do I, because he hasn't really discussed that much. Not discussed. Like it was basically announced that it's a thing that's happening, and that's basically.
But it's not taking place during any of the books. It's taking place during like what this thing.
I don't even know that.
Third Age or something.
So the books take place towards the end of the Third Age. We just don't know what's going on. Like the actual there are so you've got the first 3 books. You have The Hobbit. And then I believe you have The Fall of Numenor as its own book, and then maybe there's 1 or 2 other things that I'm skipping. Samuel will correct me. Then you've got the Silmarillion, which is like the entire history of the Middle Earth mixed with the Bible.
And that's what Rings of Power was based off of.
No, Rings of Power was loosely based off a couple of names from the Second Age and the appendices of the trilogy.
Okay.
They were trying to tell a story they did not have the rights to. That's why it was so fucked up. They chose to tell a story they legally could not depict.
Right, Daddy.
What's Bella?
Bella Lugosi?
Who's that?
Dracula. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Dracula?
I love Bella Lugosi.
Oh, the movie?
I got his picture up on my wall.
That's like the one movie I didn't. That was like the one movie for film class that I had to watch that I didn't. What was the reason? What? I might have been like home for the week, or I might have been sick or something. Yeah. I do know that's like one of the films that's like famous for the fact that apparently the Spanish version is more beloved than the English one.
I haven't seen the Spanish one because
neither have I. That's a thing. I might be misremembering that, but I think that's what was said. Or it might have been something involving the Spanish version's filming in relation to the English version. I can't remember.
Well, you got to remember that Bela Lugosi movie was made in 1930, 1931.
Yeah.
It was released in February of 1931. So it's just hitting the Great Depression. The original actor for Dracula was going to be Lon Chaney, but in August of 1930, he passed away at 47. So they were kind of.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know I need to watch it, so I mean I might as well watch it at some point. Though I am of the opinion, and I feel free to call me an asshole for this, that you can't properly adapt the Dracula novel just because like the way it was written. And like hell, a modern person can't experience the Dracula novel because we know who Dracula is. He is so ingrained in our fiction that the actual horror element of the book just can't be properly translated because you know what's going to happen, even if you don't.
Because I listened to the audiobook and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean,
it does start off really slow, but it picks up more towards the end. And
gotcha. Yeah, I read
there is a graphic novel version, and in the graphic novel version, they use the Bela Lugosi version of Dracula, at least as his depiction.
Yeah, I've read
pretty accurate to the book.
Yeah, I've read both. I've read the book and the graphic novel, and don't get me wrong, it's a good story. I really, really enjoy the story. It's just at least what I remember the story to be. It's been a while. So I read it in middle school, so I might not be remembering it completely. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, I went in knowing Dracula's a vampire. I went in knowing he can turn into mist and shapeshift into wolves, and you kill him with a stake, and he can't, like, you go in knowing all this stuff about vampires, it kind of ruins like an element of the horror, because it's like watching a movie about a demon. Like, if you don't know anything about demons and how to deal with them, which it's in popular culture now due to The Conjuring, going into The Conjuring, not knowing about holy water, not knowing about exorcisms, just watching what's going on is going to be a much bigger experience than watching Supernatural, than watching The Conjuring, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, like, I'm not saying you can't enjoy it. It's just it won't have the same full impact because of the nature of the story.
It's like if you watched Star Wars for the first time. You know Vader's Anakin, and you know all these other things, and there's no surprise like there was back in the 70s and all.
Yeah. Well, also, like, with those movies, they, like, the big thing about the Star Wars films, and don't get me wrong, they have a decent story, but their story is not it's not spectacular. What kept Star Wars ingrained in the public was the visuals.
Mm-hmm.
If the sequel trilogy was like Avatar, where Avatar has a poor story, but it has some of the most advanced CGI of its time and is still beautiful by modern standards, the sequel trilogy probably would have gotten a pass on a lot of the bad writing it had. Like Avatar got a lot of pass on the bad writing it had. But they didn't do that. They told a bad story with modern technology, and it hurts it. You got to have something to stand out to build a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of stuff doesn't do that. We got some activity in the chat, so let's hop back in. Michelle's back. Yeah, exactly. Like, they've got, like, they mentioned Celebrimbor and Galadriel and Morgoth and Sauron and Mordor, but nothing of substance or value of any interest. Bela Lugosi Pelosi. Dracula was based on a more ancient legends. Yeah, the I didn't know about the Irish part, but I do believe that they were based on the Strigoi of Slavic mythology, specifically like southeastern area, which was like the basis of modern vampires. Because another thing that's really weird, most cultures have some sort of blood-sucking humanoid monster.
Yep.
The Filipinos have the Aswang. The Chinese have like these leaping demons. The Japanese have the I'm blanking on the name. Jiangxi, I believe they are. They're like floating vampires, basically. Apparently, like, even before Bram Stoker was written, the Scots had a story about like a creature that would come out of the then there's no different than the Kappa. The Kappa is an Oni, like a turtle thing, I think. And then even the Scots had a story that was relatively similar to, like, not in the same amount of detail, but like a thing that would rise out of coffins. And I think it was the Gorbel, like there was a town called Gorbel, and there was a creature that later got classified as a vampire that existed in their mythology that would like come out and eat people, kind of like their version of the boogeyman, but it was very similar to Bram Stoker's Dracula, if my memory is correct, of course.
I know a little bit about Celtic mythology and all, but not that much.
I mean, we barely know anything of it because the Romans showed up, converted everyone to, well, Roman stuff. The Saxons showed up, genocided the Celts, and pushed them into Wales, where their culture had a few thousand years to forget everything. And then Christianity did the rest, and now you don't have the situation it is now, sadly. Yeah. It's actually kind of depressing. And honestly, like, going back to like Tolkien, he actually wrote Lord of the Rings and built the world of Middle-earth to be sort of a replacement cultural story that was lost by the Romans and the Saxons burning Britain to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Michelle, you're giving James Cameron way too much credit. He literally just took Dancing with Wolves, slapped blue people on the slapped blue paint on the natives, and accidentally created an 80s action hero as the villain. Yeah, like
I've heard it's been compared to Pocahontas, Dancing with Wolves, Ferngully, all these tree hugging, tofu farting fairy movies.
Yeah, it's really it's horrible because like the villains get like the humans get no depth at all. They're like all evil, alien killing, laughing monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Not accounting that these are people who are probably there to get money to feed their families, trying to build spaceships to help an overpopulated Earth colonize other planets to lower the population issues. And it fails to understand that, and like, also, James Cameron's world building for the Na'vi is bullshit. They have a respect for warriors over other cultures, yet, and further, they have a word for warrior, yet apparently they don't war amongst each other. They understand the concept of war, but they don't make war on each other. They don't have a word for lie because they don't lie to each other, but they're also still individuals. They live out in the middle of nowhere, yet they don't seem to die of disease. They don't seem to have any crippled people. So do they put down their cripples? Like, there are so many like issues with the Na'vi as a culture because they're basically just Native Americans made blue, looking like Lady Demestru, and made perfect. They're like Tolkien's elves, but executed horribly. Yeah, it's like Michelle. I understand that. I personally think Princess Mononoke is a better representation of that type of story than anything else. Oh, I'm actually one of the few courses that I was surprised about from my college education was my history course, because I learned about the Native Americans and a lot of the stuff they did. Cat's back, and a lot of the stuff they did to the land, like they built something akin to a highway in certain places. Native Americans would burn down forests to make good farmland.
I don't know. That sounds the only thing I would say is this. Given the nature of your college, I'm not sure I believe anything coming out of that school at this point.
Well, no, so it was specifically like my psych course. Like, I looked it up later, and it's not like a proper highway. Like, they didn't clear a ton of ground and make cement, but it's like it's an area that was specifically cleared out and had hills removed or like gullies filled in to make a route of trade between populations. And given it's in like do you remember the Anasazi with like their cliff cities?
Yeah.
It was in that relative area where you had a degree of development where it's like, yeah, that's something that could have happened. You could have easily seen that occur. It's not too outlandish. It's not like some people who claim that the Native Americans had iron, which they don't. If they understood metallurgy, I'm sorry, like it would have been very different. They would have had a very different history than what they were shown.
It's also the X-Files episode.
Okay, I can't hear Cat.
I can hear Cat.
I can't.
That's weird.
Testing?
She just said testing.
There is an X-Files episode called the Anasazi.
All right. Kat, try unplugging your I don't know how to fix this actually. Zenny, try I don't know.
I am on my phone, so.
Yeah, but like you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
I can hear Kat. Kat, can you hear Zenny?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know. Huh. Weird. Maybe one of you try leaving the call and rejoining the call and see if that fixes that.
I got it. All right.
Okay. Oh yeah, Samuel. Absolutely. Like that is 100% correct. The Aztecs. Oh, okay. The Aztecs actually. Funny story about the Aztecs. The way they declared their independence from a king they had surrendered to was by asking for his daughter, one of his daughters, to be the princess for their prince. They skinned her alive, turned her into a coat, and on the wedding day gave her to her father as a gift. The Aztecs deserved what the Spaniards did to them. All right, let's try speaking now. Kat, speak.
Hi.
Did you hear that, Zenny?
No.
Okay, so then you try leaving and joining the link and see if that fixes it. So yeah. So just click leave studio. Yeah. Okay.
I have no idea what's going on. I am finally made it back.
So
Okay,
Zenny,
now.
You can hear her now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, good. So yeah, let me put it back there. Yeah, no, the Native, actually, what's really funny about Jamestown is the only reason Jamestown survived is because they apparently unintentionally capitulated to the Powhatan Confederacy.
Hmm.
Apparently, the Powhatan, they did something with the Powhatans where it was the tribe that Pocahontas was from.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they did a thing with the Powhatans where they effectively, vassalized themselves to the Native Americans, and that's why they weren't wiped off the face of the earth, because they were peacefully conquered, which I find absolutely hilarious. But no, it gets even funnier. I'm getting to them, Samuel. Hold your horses.
Yeah, they were human beings. They probably were bloodthirsty human beings who kill each other.
Or the Haudenosaunee, what people refer to as the Iroquois. They genocided multiple tribes to get access to beaver so they can sell beaver to the Europeans.
They're human. They weren't gods. Yeah. Not so.
They were fucking monsters, just like Europeans were monsters, and Japanese were monsters, and Chinese were monsters, and Arabs were monsters, and French were monsters.
The only people who are not monsters were Egyptians. New book.
Oh, I love that. Really, really good book. But
I got a combination of the two.
Nice.
And it was published in 2021, so it's before people started editing books.
The Egyptians were kind of
perfect.
Monstrous.
Perfect. 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 Oh, perfect.
They were an irrigation society. That inherently makes them more authoritarian and evil than 90% of societies.
Living perfection.
Look, we can agree that they're better than the Mongols.
They're better than everyone. They're Egyptian. Duh.
Yeah, kill, genocide. It's actually, what I find really, really funny is the French apparently tried to convert a tribe called the Hurons, a tribe in Canada, to Catholicism by helping them raid the Iroquois. Like they were doing a ton of shit to help the Hurons, and you had members of the Huron were like, you don't think like us, you're weird. Why would we ever trust you? The French, we are literally helping you fight your enemy. We are giving you gunpowder and firewater. Be our friend.
All right. You want to know something I remember from elementary school, middle school? Freaked me out. Crazy, crazy. Native Americans used to do this. They would amputate the fingers of priests. So they'd bite. So apparently your fingers are easy to amputate. They would bite and break the bone, and then bite to break the skin. And that it was known that priests often had multiple missing fingers.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I remember from school. Now, maybe, I don't know.
I've never heard that, but.
I mean, I imagine it. It's a big freaking continent. I imagine at least one tribe did that.
Apparently, they could easily do that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it makes sense that a finger would be easier to take off than a hand, just because there's less meat, less bones,
less blood.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Whoa. I just got an alert for Tim Pool. Either this is clickbait or it's Donald Trump indicted. NYPD orders full mobilization.
Yeah.
Are they arresting?
That looks like that's what they're gonna do.
They're actually. When did this come out?
Right before the stream started. All that indictment stuff started coming out right as we started the stream.
They're doing that at the same time that I don't want to sound like Tim Pool, I really don't want to sound like
Tim Pool. Look over here. Don't look
we
over
might
there.
actually have not a proper civil war, but we will have a bloody Kansas. I think that was just before the Civil War started.
Yeah,
that was
like a red Kansas, bloody. Like we're gonna have one of those soon.
Yikes!
Based on that, like something that pisses off the left just happened. Something that really, two things that really are gonna piss off the right just happened.
Wait. Whoa.
Like,
wait. You're telling me that they are going to indict Trump and they're about to have a whole bunch of lunatics screaming about their day of vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Day of vengeance and arguing that trans people are under attack, completely ignoring what happened at that school. Like, yes, not all trans people agree with what that monster did. Not all trans people support what that monster did. Not all trans people are going to do what that monster did. But when people
I trust Blair White
angry,
more than some people I know.
What was that, Zenny?
I trust Blair White more than some folks I know.
Yeah.
The thing is, my other issue is just the vast majority of the people who call themselves trans are not trans because they don't even know what trans is. And it's not what 90% of what these people think. It's a cult. It is now a cult. And it's what the advantage about being trans is.
Like I've told you about the story. I've told you about the story. By the way, the chick who slapped me, same person. There was a girl who was telling me that she's got a boyfriend, but she prefers girls. So she's she's 90% lesbian, 10% bi.
These kids.
I'm pretty sure that was meant as a joke, but like, I don't know if she's ever had a girlfriend.
Sounds like she just.
But apparently, she also like said some pretty creepy shit about some of the girls that. I mean, we were lifeguards, so you can imagine the uniform. Apparently, she like would tell the guys some pretty creepy shit about, or like talk pretty creepily about some of the girls that worked with us, and it's just so I can easily see her being a lesbian from that. I never heard any of it myself, but it's just like comment, that statement. You don't know what you're talking about, like you just don't.
No, I can't believe they're actually going to go through with this. I thought they said there was no way to do this. I thought the issue was over.
There wouldn't be in a good and lawful society, but we don't live in a good and lawful society. There wouldn't be a way to do this in a republic. We aren't in a republic. We are in an aristocracy.
We're in
what we are looking at is a shot off the bow. This is like I'm currently reading about the fall of Rome, and it's not the fall of Rome, the fall of the republic and the rise of the empire. And the starting ground was politics becoming super polarized to the point where you effectively had two parties, and loyalty to the party was causing violence in the streets. The step after that was attempts at reforms that caused violence between the two factions. One faction won. There was a lull, and then another person gained power, and out of fear of that person gaining too much power, Pompey Magnus rallied legions to fight Caesar after he crossed the Rubicon.
Yeah, but the other side are lunatics. I'm sorry, but like I said, the vast majority of these people aren't even trans. There are a bunch of...
It doesn't matter. There's going to be violence.
It's a cult, and one that they... it's a selfie.
So was the not Red Army, but like Mao's, the people who subscribe to Mao's ideology, gangs of violent people who not literally ate each other, figuratively ate each other for not adhering to their leader's ideology well enough, who burned and destroyed the previous culture because it didn't match with the modern worldview, who brutally tortured and killed people who held conservative values.
Oh.
Only a few of those things haven't happened yet, because America is a little bit more stable is way more stable than China was, and we still have an understanding of the rule of law.
What's going to kill it is if this TikTok ban goes through. You've heard about what's in it. No, do you know what's in it?
It's not going to kill it. It's not going to kill it.
Think about it.
It's going to grievously wound it, but they're going to find a way.
You know what's in it.
They'll use Twitter. They'll use YouTube. They'll use Instagram. They'll use Snapchat.
No. I'm not saying kill it in the bad way. I mean, what will drive things even worse is this. They're turning the country into a police state. This is horrific. I want TikTok banned, but not like this.
Yeah. When the Republicans and the Democrats both agree to something, it means you're fucked.
Mhm.
Zenny, I heard you were trying to hop into the conversation and I kind of cut you off. I'm sorry. What'd you want to say?
Yeah, that what with the VPNs and all, that sounds like a poison pill to kill this bill so it doesn't go through and the TikTok stays not get banned and all.
I mean, that was because they were starving, Samuel. Not the ideology. Sorry for cutting you off, Zenny. Keep going. I apologize.
And of course, one of my senators, Warner, is put that thing in there. So,
yeah, it's an absolute fucking shit show. Oh, I didn't mean to click that. I mean, to be fair, there's a point that was raised that I heard about recently. I don't remember who it was from, but it was basically like it's genuinely surprising that America has had as much power as it has been as active in the world as it has, and it's only had one major civil war. And I mean, like that honestly makes a lot of sense, especially with how just varied thinking and people are in this country. You would think that we would have a lot more violence, but no, aside from like some riots every once in a while, we're a relatively peaceful history, mostly because we take that issues we have with each other, we ignore it, and we point it at the other guy.
No,
Oh. Ooh. Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah. So, yeah, America's going to go through some brutally bad times. John Wick apparently is good.
I'm not interested in the John Wick stuff.
I mean, that's fair. It's not exactly targeting your demographic.
No, I want to see it. I
don't mind action movies, but I'm just not interested.
No, I definitely want to see it. I have to just watch the first 3.
They're all really good. They're all really freaking good. They will ruin your ability to enjoy other movies for a bit because they count the bullets. They counted how many rounds are in a magazine, and he reloads after he runs out of ammo.
That's impressive.
That will ruin. Well, that's like the main selling point was they were trying to tell like an unrealistic action story, but they grounded as much as they could in reality. Like,
yeah, but that makes sense. If you're making an action movie, you want to know how many people should be reloading.
But like the hard part with that is, and this is from like doing film, from taking a few film courses. Well, part of the reason they're able to do it is because they use a lot of long takes, so they can like time that better. But when you're filming certain shots, it's a lot harder to keep a lot of those details together. Like, for example, for the Joker movie, he had a 6-shot revolver, but he fired 7 shots into that guy and he didn't reload, or at least he's not shown to have reloaded. So that is an example of like they did the shot here, right? They did the shot here where he fired off the gun and then he moved to a different spot and then he had to reload. A lot of movies, it's just not worth the effort because most people aren't going to pay attention to this to keep track of how many bullets were fired here, how many bullets were fired here, how many bullets were fired here, when does he need to reload? Because they don't need to. They can just spray bullet, show a shot of him reloading and spray bullet, and you have to accept that, hey, he reloaded, he doesn't have infinite ammo. Whereas John Wick, they took the time to carefully make sure that is realistic, just like they made sure bullets were realistic, that they made sure fighting capabilities were realistic. John doesn't pull a Batman where he punches a dude in the face once and the guy's out cold. He uses a gun to knock him out cold, or the fighting takes a bit. Even when you're wearing invincible armor, basically, the concussive force of the bullet still affects you. It still hits you. You're still getting hurt by the fact that something moving at like Mach 2 just suddenly stopped. You're going to break a rib with that.
No, I'm sorry. I cannot get over the fact that they're indicting Trump. This is insane. This is absolutely insane.
I'm not surprised. Why would they be? Why would they be worried?
That's just nuts. You can't just arrest your But then I mean, we're talking about the people who justify the murder of children.
Sure, you can arrest your political opponents, Kat. All you need is all you need to do is make sure that the people won't revolt. What have the American people not done for the last couple of years, despite all the bullshit?
No, because because keep in mind, they'll immediately label it. Think about it. It depends on who does it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the big, like honestly, they should have waited for him to make a move where they could they should have waited till they could have like construed a move for They should have waited for him to make a move that they can construe as some kind of terrorism. Like they couldn't hit him for January 6th because there is video evidence of him going peacefully protest. You can't tie that back to him. You can't hit him for Russia because there's no evidence. You can't they need something that they can actually lock onto airtight, recent, something big enough where they can make a move like this. And honestly, why? Why worry about Trump? Trump himself isn't the problem. Trump himself, he isn't a Caesar. He isn't an Alexander the Great. He isn't a Charlemagne or a Genghis Khan. He is just someone who's able to use the anger of the people against the state. Like there will be another. If they get rid of Trump, there will be another Trump. There will be another 6 Trumps in his place, because he is not inherently himself a great leader. He is a manifestation of the rage of the common people, pissed at a society that has abandoned them. Because if you look at human nature, it is not in our nature to subject ourselves to the authority of someone else. We want to live free. We want to eat when we want. We want to sleep when we want. We want to reproduce when we want. We want to do all of this when we want. We submit ourselves to an authority to get something in return, whether it be protection, whether it be food, whether it be money, whether it be a chance to go kill people without ourselves being killed, or a chance for the opportunity to breed and spread our genes. The American government has failed to meet any of those standards in effect. But the problem is, the American people, we are too careful. We are not too careful. We are too soft. We are too weak. We are too content. This stream, Samuel stream, Ryan stream, we talk a lot about this shit, about how stuff needs to happen. Most of us are probably not going to do a damn thing. And I'm including myself in that assessment. Why? Because we have these to keep us entertained. America will
Shadow, I'll tell you why nobody's going to do anything. You want to know why nobody's going to do anything? Because whenever we do something, I mean, come on, they are literally justifying the killing of children. Because every time we do something, even if it's peaceful, it's turned into a riot. The fact that they have the NYPD all out and ready for the arrest of Trump, even though Republicans do not have a history of revolting. It's always the one time they turn January 6th when you have the fact that you literally have the guy being led through the Capitol and people are like,
yes,
yeah, he was still evil.
Right.
But if someone who's on the left does it, it's justified. It's good. They turn the goddamn person who with the kids into a martyr. The poor guy.
Right. But let me finish. That's what's going on. That's the story. If you were to take someone who had to work hard for their food, who had to work hard for their wages, who didn't sleep comfortably, who didn't live comfortably, and they saw themselves being treated unfairly, they would do something about it. The American people are content. They are lazy. They see that the evil is happening. They see that there is a problem. We see that we need to stand up and do something, but they don't. We don't, because we are content. We'll shout about it. We'll rage about it. But when it actually comes down to doing something, we can't work up enough of an effort because it's too hard. Because we would rather sit down.
No, I would say no.
We would rather rather rest.
I would Shadow. No, I think
we have been submissive.
Shadow. No. Some people, yes, but I would say a lot of Republicans in particular who have a hardworking mentality are more likely it's because they are busy working. You notice who are the ones out there all the time? It's the idiots who are living on cat food. All right. Mm-hmm. Especially when it came to the vaccines and the jab and losing your job. Some people stood up, but a lot of people are like, and I mean, you're dealing with losing everything, but at the same time, it's like they're too busy working. When it comes down to it, I think a big factor also is just the fact that even if we try to do anything, we're labeled as the bad guy over and over and over. I know people who still think the vaccine works.
Well, Kat, here's the thing.
Caesar we're trying to justify the
13th Legion were labeled the bad guys. They were labeled as the people trying to destroy the Republic.
It doesn't.
Yeah, that didn't stop them. They didn't sit down and just go, well, because they were.
Shadow. Look what happened to the truckers. Look what happened to the truckers.
Yeah.
They lost their money. They were, they're probably still suffering from it. So yeah, everybody who looks at it and goes, yeah, I want to stand up. What happens? What happens when people protest at drag queen events? Who gets arrested?
People are taking it's half measures.
No. Shadow, I didn't finish. What happens when when people protest at drag events? Who gets arrested? It's not the people doing the protesters.
It's half measures.
Because it's biased. It's not half measures. The only way to affect
change is full measures. I'm not going to discuss full measures.
Shadow, it's not that. It's biased. How can we fight an unfair system? Technically, Tim Pool is right.
You get the noose, you get the guillotine.
Technically,
you go full measures. You go full measures, but you won't go full measures.
Shadow, that doesn't work. Look, technically, Tim Pool is right. Okay? Drag queen story time is illegal. You don't need to make a new law on the book. Technically, everything that they are doing is illegal. You don't need to add laws, but the police aren't enforcing the laws. There is no, this isn't about half measure. This is simply the fact that they are doing what is accepted by those in power. Okay? Right. Technically, Ron DeSantis should have gone into that hotel and arrested them. Every drag queen story hour event, they should be arrested, but they don't because they either are too scared or they support this. And when anybody goes out there and says, I mean, people who protest it, say something, are dragged off and arrested. So,
and people let it happen.
And their lives are people. No, it isn't even that people let it happen. It's the people in charge let it happen, want it to happen. People lose their jobs. I mean, the fact that some Muslim woman got harassed, her children stalked, and what? People celebrated that. That's the problem. It's because
we did anything.
Yeah, because I agree,
people don't want to do anything.
No, it's because people are too scared. They are not. They don't. It's not
they're
that they
scared
don't want
that they can't win.
Shut up.
They're willing to sit down and take it because they don't want to put up the risk of fighting.
Because exactly. The system isn't.
I'm not disagreeing. I am not disagreeing that the system is rigged, that it's not fair, that it's against
people.
What
is the point in fighting if you have
that's the energy I'm talking about right there, Kat. People are fine to sit down because they don't
No, it isn't fine about sitting down. It's if I know that if I go to work and I say, I'm not going to call you that, there's no point. I'm going to lose my job.
Right.
Okay. I know that no matter and look, I hate to sound like my dad because I've gotten into huge amounts of arguments with my dad over this because I'm like, Dad, you do not understand. My rights as a woman are being taken away. Like you're not understanding the fact that seeing a dude beating women in sports events, my rights as a woman are being taken away. But at the same time, what is the point of doing something when nothing's going to come out of it? I agree with you. But at the same time, unless a lot of people stand up, which is very difficult. On top of that, a lot of the people don't even know what's going on.
Exactly.
That's the other problem.
No, people don't
this is so preposterous that the idea that this is happening is just mind-blowing. When you tell people there's drag queen story time going on, they go, no, it isn't. They cannot possibly believe that this is actually happening. They cannot possibly believe that kids are being taken from their parents because they're not. It's just, I don't know. But the fact that Trump is being indicted after all this is insane.
And no one's going to do anything. Like you said,
if we
because
do
no one
something,
wants to risk it. No one wants to risk it.
It isn't just that. It's
if half a million Americans stood up and did something.
Shadow, you know what's going to happen. This is what's good. If somebody tried to do something, okay? People went into New York and protested, all right? Even if it's as normally as usual with Republicans. Republicans are usually boring ass people who even when they protest. I mean, I've seen protests of people in a documentary. You know, the sheep people, right? They were more peaceful than the people demanding they not participate. They not be allowed to march in Washington. They have the right to, but they were more peaceful. They were the ones being attacked by the lefties. I'm looking at them going, what the hell? You're crazy. You are attacking. They have the right to protest. Even if the Republicans, which probably will go to New York and protest and are peaceful about the protest, how is it going to be labeled? The entire media, except for Fox News. A guy I work with still listens to CNN. I'm looking like, are you crazy? The entire media is going to label it as a riot.
Right.
They're going to find the one or two idiots who do something wrong, or they'll find a way to make it look like they were violent. And the next thing you know, we're going to be demonized again. I mean, seriously,
that means rioting is a half. That means protests are half measures.
No, it's not the protests. Even as I said, even full-on protests. What happens? How are they covered?
Again, you're not hearing me, Kat. You are saying nothing changes because the game is rigged.
Yes, the game is rigged.
At that point, don't play the fucking game.
Then do what?
But no one wants to abandon the game because the game is safe. It is easy.
No, because Shadow, if we go beyond the game and we start acting more as in like violence, that's even worse.
Exactly.
Right now, yes. So we can't.
No one wants to do it. I don't want to do it.
No, Shadow.
I'm not saying
don't do it. Tim is right.
I'm not, and I'm not arguing. I am not arguing we need to do it. I am saying the reason why nothing is happening is because the power is in the hands of the aristocracy and their rabid dogs that they have loosed on society.
And anything we
protesting
do, even if
won't change anything. Voting won't change anything because if you try to vote anyone who would actually change things,
and anything beyond that,
get trumped. They get treated like Trump or Carrie Lake. If you try to speak out against the aristocracy, you get knocked down.
Yes.
You cannot play within the bounds of the game because the game is rigged from the start, which means you need to break the game. But breaking the game means something worse than 1860. And no one wants worse than 1860.
Shadow, if we try, that's the problem. The more I think about it, first off, I have no doubt the midterms were completely falsified. I am pretty sure that the midterms, totally not true. I have little doubt that there was rampant issues in the midterms.
Oh,
because that should have been a massive red wave. But that aside, every time we try, we are immediately demonized. Okay?
Yes, you said that. I'm not disputing that.
Yeah, so it's like we have to, at this point, let them act stupid. Okay? If they have their, you know what? I am hoping this Saturday they do their event. You want to know why?
They aren't the people with the power.
No, but on top of that, think about it. There was one of these people was saying, was talking about how do you think the people living in the state in Tennessee feel about the laws that were being passed? They probably hate their government. I'm like, no, on the contrary, you idiot. They hate you.
Yeah.
They hate you because of what someone like you did to their children. They're not coming out of this going, damn the government for banning this. They're coming out of this thinking, I hope you and everyone like you burns in hell, because it's the same thing. So so the more we sit back and let them burn themselves, eventually the normal American people, they're not going to be able to miss it. Even with the media
and what will they do? Will they protest? Will
they will at least talk with their votes. We might get a bigger hand on the votes.
Votes that we have expressed don't work anymore.
So then what are we going to do? When it comes down to it, what are we going to do?
There are two options. There's Ride With It, and there's 1776.
Which
and both
we
of them are
do.
shitty. Both of them are horrible options.
We will lose. Period. We will lose. At the end of it, we will lose.
America loses.
Yes. What other option do we have?
The only option on the table that doesn't end in violence is America choking on poison for a couple generations until we're
inoculated. I hope the economy. I hope they find. I hope.
Actually, you know what? The economy crashing would probably fix this shit.
Yes, like that's what I'm thinking.
It'd be like fucking alcohol to burn out a parasite. Zenny, we've been dominating.
Yeah. Me and Shadow arguing
bullshit in this country about how one side's allowed to be violent assholes and the other side have to be choir boys, and one side gets demonized and one side gets praised. And summarizing the issue, Kat's point is that people get demonized and treated like shit so they don't stand up. My point is that...
No, it's not that they get demonized. It's simply that at the end of the day, okay,
there's no point.
They manipulate the media so that we look like the bad guys.
Right. I wanted to let Zenny speak. I wanted to let Zenny speak. I was just catching Primal up.
Yeah.
Catch you up.
Trust me, opinion, Shadow. I want to. I want to. I have had arguments repeatedly with my father because he's telling me to stay quiet, and
y'all are the ones telling me to stay quiet.
And
I think if Muggsy was watching this, she would get a plane ticket down to Oklahoma. She would find where I live, and she would fucking pimp slap me for being an idiot.
I'm with you.
That's not going to happen, Primal.
I'm telling you.
The aristocracy rules
agree.
Everything.
No, and that will, on top of that will put us at a very vulnerable. No, I am like you. I want to do something, but at the same time, every time I realize, I mean, you literally have people justifying the harming of children. These people are so manipulative that they are turning a baby, a child killer into a victim.
Yeah. So I'm just going to quickly catch up the comments, and then because we invited Zenny on.
And on top of that, we have a great video.
She doesn't have a Type A personality.
Zenny, Zelda Breath of the Wild is coming out. Not Breath of the Wild, the sequel. I keep forgetting the name of it. Tears of the Kingdom.
So quickly, Samuel. Yeah, I'm not saying there aren't people trying to do stuff, but at the end of the day, when America has become an aristocracy where the voice of the common people can be washed away by the wills of the technocrats, and the wild dogs are the ones who get to establish policy.
Look, let me put it another way.
That's when the world burns.
Let me just add one other thing.
Shadow. Rome, I'm just catching up the comments.
Let me just say one other thing, Shadow. All right, who are the hardworking people in this country right now?
Which is why I said an economic crash is probably the best thing that we could have happen.
When they realize that, these children don't work, and the only people keeping this country going are people like, well, you don't work. Well, you do work. Never mind. But when they realize that
I'm in college. I actually, this semester, I tried to work. I applied to jobs at my college. They never got back to me.
Yeah, well, you're wrong.
And I tried to go to their office. They don't have a physical fucking office. They're all remote workers. So I can't go to their desk and go, hey, did my application go through correctly? Because it's not like I sent you an actual resume. I filled out your fucking form online and you just never got back to me.
No.
And there's no way to contact anyway. Rome is a very similar civilization to America in a lot of ways. So a lot of the things line up. And they're not going to be one-to-one. American politics have been a lot less bloody. American politics have been a lot less bloody than Rome, but it's a good general trends are a good one-to-one with when Rome has a large population of young violent men, they want to do violent shit. When America's got a large population of young violent men,
we don't have a population of young violent men. We have a young population of people who are so drugged up they don't know left from right and so confused.
I was using a generalized example. Like when Rome wanted to go conquer shit, that's typically when they had a lot of young men who wanted to conquer shit. When America wanted to get imperialist, it's because we had a lot of young men who wanted to get imperialist. War is typically based on having a large young male population because we're the ones doing the killing and the dying. I said hello to Primal. That was him catching it up. Primal. Yeah, it's either that or a bloody war. I don't want a bloody war. A peaceful separation ain't gonna happen. So it looks like we need to choke on poison and let people starve for a couple years to fix this.
I don't think a peaceful. I don't care. Tim Pool is wrong. He doesn't live in a state like New Jersey. He doesn't deal with, I'm telling you, most of the views that I have, unless you're in a college situation, all right? So unless you're like a college professor, which I happen to know a college professor.
Or like a deep urban area, like where all the tech companies are.
Yes. But in New Jersey, most of New Jersey, at least the people I work with, they don't agree with what's being done to kids. And they're Democrats.
Most of the people who need to work for their meals, who actually have to work for their meals, are going to have rational opinions because they're living in a world of rationality.
And I mean, look, I think it's nonsense to a degree that even more so than where it's like they can't even take adults seriously. All right, who do this? They're like, oh yeah, adults can do it, but nobody takes it. No, I'm sorry. So there's no even divide like that, like Tim Pool makes it sound out. Most people are hardworking. I don't know. I feel.
All right, Zenny, we've been kind of dominating the conversation, so let's hear your take on this.
On Zelda Breath of the Tears of the Two.
We can talk about that after, but I am curious about Zenny's perspective on this. Zenny?
Dang if you do, dang if you don't.
That sounded French.
No, it didn't. What are you talking about? And she's right. Danged if you do and danged if you don't. All I know is I'm going to be one of the first people lined up to be shot.
No.
In Minecraft.
No, not even then. It's what the first people that are going to be shot are going to be the people that they can't control effectively.
Which is me, because you can't control me.
No, you have a family, and you're not poisoned by testosterone. You're also not young and stupid.
I'm stupid.
You're a hard-working person. You're a hard-working person with a family that can hold at gunpoint to make you keep doing what you're doing in the warehouse you work at. What they're going to go after first are the people they can't control. The people who don't have good relationships with their families, the people who don't have a job, the violent lunatics that they're using as their warhounds. Those are going to be the first people they purge. See you, Sam. See you, man. Sorry for sounding a bit stupid at times. Not sorry for other times.
All right. Putting all that aside. All right. Yeah. So, all right. Breath of the Tears of the Kingdom. There is a new OLED Switch coming out with the Breath of the Kingdom. So a guy comes into me and he's like, hey, they're up for pre-order. So I'm like, awesome, sweet. I got one from one store. Next day, someone on YouTube points out that it's on Amazon, is on another store, right? And they're like, and I'm like, his post was 2 hours later. So I'm like, you know what? Since it's not pay first, you don't pay for it until it comes out. I'm like, to hell with it. I pre-ordered too. And then another person was saying why you should buy the Breath of the Tears of the Kingdom OLED Switch. They're pointing out that all Nintendo hardware, especially gold-colored Zelda Nintendo hardware, go up exponentially in value. So I'm seriously considering, given the inflation in our economy, of buying both of them. And then saving it and selling it in a decade.
Yeah.
Or selling it to you, Shadow. How would you like a Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Switch for $700?
I have no clue what that gameplay is like. And I don't have
a Switch.
No.
You need a Switch.
I don't need a Switch. I have my computer.
Yeah, well, all right.
I barely have enough time to play like the 3 games. I barely.
Zenny, do you have a Nintendo Switch?
Zenny would probably be better use. By the way, just as like a heads up.
I Switch. I just don't use it.
So at least she has a Nintendo. So when it comes down to it, if there were only one console you can own and a PC, the best one to get is the Nintendo Switch, because most of the console games, Xbox and PlayStation, are available on PC. So that makes sense. However, the Nintendo Switch, unless you use an emulator, which I'm going to deny and completely condemn, because look, I have a friend who works for Nintendo. All right. You need a Nintendo console to play first-party Nintendo titles. Which Breath of the Wild is. I mean, I'm more of a Link to the Past person myself, but Breath of the Wild is pretty good. And you could also pay. Nintendo has their own version of Game Pass, and if you pay the $20, you get NES and SNES games, and then I think it's $50, you get Sega Genesis and 64 Game Boy games.
I think Primal's mad with you, Zenny.
For what?
I guess the Switch.
Zenny, how dare you not touch your Switch?
Hey, the Switch is cool.
I just don't have I'm not a big gamer.
What was that? Sorry. I was doing the dramatic music. I kind of overshadowed you.
She says
I'm not a big gamer.
Yeah.
Like, I only got it because of the Spyro Reignited series, and then they got the Assassin's Creed 3 and all. That's pretty much it.
Warframe is on the Switch.
Oh, poor Primal. You just ruined Primal's day. Look at him.
Hey, Primal, I use my Switch. Not only that, I have a Switch Lite that I take with me to work.
Use your Switch. Oh, poor Primal.
Well, I'm usually sewing something or doing something else besides gaming.
Yeah. Which, again, you're really freaking good at. So, like, do you have like a website or something where you sell stuff, or is it just a hobby?
No, it's just a hobby.
All right. A cat admitting some of her embarrassing childhood secrets. Me and my best friend would sit in the playground when I was in elementary school and sew clothing for dolls. Well, not dolls, teddy bears. I hated dolls. Teddy bears.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Huh?
Teddy
no, Roosevelt. I did not have two Teddy Roosevelt. You know this because I could not afford a Teddy Roosevelt.
No, well, I'm not saying that part, but like Teddy Bear came from Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh, yes.
Do you know who found that bear?
What?
Do you know the name of the person who found the bear Roosevelt refused to shoot?
No, I don't know the name.
His name's Holt Collier.
Holt Collier.
He was born a slave. He served in the Texas Cavalry during the Civil War. And he served in the Confederacy.
Oh,
I was just about to ask. Wait a minute. Hold on. What was his name?
Holt Collier.
Holt Collier.
That is cool. That is actually very cool.
Collier, Collie. Holy fucking shit! And he's not white either. Like I was like, because you did have.
He was a slave.
Well, no, because you did have mixed race slaves that looked more European than they did African. I could have like those. I could easily see someone like that, but like no, he's holy shit.
No, well, there were black people who owned slaves.
Well, yeah, I know there were black people who owned slaves, predominantly in Louisiana, specifically New Orleans, because that city is fucking weird. But I can't play my smash. Oh,
Primal.
That's why he's sad at you, because he doesn't have one.
No, he has a Switch. He says he has 2 3DSs.
I can't.
My God, Shadow, you do not speak Nintendo speak. I am embarrassed to be in the same chat room with you now. You're talking about Nintendo speak. 2 3DSs. I have a 3DS and 2 2DSs. Yeah. The one that folds.
Who didn't own slaves? Who didn't own slaves?
Yeah, true.
I didn't know. My ancestors didn't. They were Irish.
They probably at some point owned slaves.
No, I mean my answer, like they were starving.
So
my ancestors were fucking barrel makers, probably.
Shadow, they probably weren't always starving. They probably at some point stopped being starving.
No, probably the majority of their history. Apparently, I got some Scottish royalty in me somehow. That's not saying much, though. Apparently, everyone in Scotland has some Scottish royalty.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
no, I did not know this man existed. Hollywood, make a movie about this guy. No balls.
You hear about Jim Limber Davis.
Daily Wire, make a movie about this guy. No balls.
Yeah, I got.
Then there's Jim Limber Davis, and he is sort of the adopted son of President Davis, and he was a freeborn black boy, and after his parents died, he was sent to live with a guardian, and the guardian just beat this poor little boy to death. No, not to death, but pretty badly. And Varina Davis, Jefferson Davis's wife, saw this, put an end to it, and took the boy in, and he was practically one of their kids.
Huh. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm looking at this. I might, depending on how expensive it is, I might get like a physical copy of this, because this is like this is the kind of thing to like bring up as like this is the kind of thing to flash in front of people to get what the fuck reactions.
Eh?
No, they'll
nice.
make him white. They'll make him white.
No, but they will make him gay and
ginger.
non-binary. They will definitely make him gay and non-binary. But they'll keep him black.
Oh, can't you guys wait for the Netflix adaptation of Greta Thunberg? I cannot wait for them to cast a black chick.
Wait, they're making what?
No, I'm joking. It's a joke of like everything.
Okay.
Every historical documentary either makes the person black, or a historical fiction story makes the person black, or they insert like a black person. Like for example, Barbarian season 2 randomly inserted a sub-Saharan African woman as a Carthaginian. The Carthaginians were exterminated like 200 years prior to the events of Barbarian season 2. Like they'll do stupid shit to force in. It's weird. I blame Primal. It's all Primal's fault. Primal is the reason Hollywood is Hollywood.
No, it's laziness and stupidity and a lack of just plain enjoyment in writing.
Why are you insulting Primal, Kat? That's very...
I'm not insulting Primal. I'm saying it's not his fault. Unfortunately, it's Hollywood.
Primal just said, bruh.
He's gonna fucking murder me. Time. I don't care.
He's gonna fucking murder me. He's gonna
do it.
You live
Primal,
in New York, please. Right? He's gonna get a fucking plane ticket from New York.
Sorry, I had to say that. That's one of my corpus buddies.
He's gonna go from New York. He's gonna go all the way to Canada, pick up Muggsy.
Oh God, he can come to me.
They're gonna fly together to beat the crap out of me.
I want to see this. You guys, Primal, come pick me up. I want to see this. And yay, Zenny, you want to come too? Let's watch him beat up Shadow. He's so much fun.
Sure. I've never been that far west.
Yeah. That's great. If you ever, I think we talked about this a while back. If you ever come to Texas, go to Buc-ee's.
That's the what's it called? There's a series of videos.
The Babylon Bee.
No. There's a series of videos made by the Babylon Bee.
Yeah, and
it's all about the people who moved to.
Yeah, it's about Californians coming to Texas.
Yeah.
That reaction to Buc-ee's, that is accurate. Buc-ee's is the Texan Disneyland. It is beautiful.
It is a gas station. Zenny, these Texans are crazy.
No, Kat. It is more than a gas station. It's a gas station that also has a car wash, a fudge making factory on the inside, a barbecue stand, and it's also effectively a department store with the amount of merchandise they sell. Like you live near a Buc-ee's, you've basically got a supermarket, a gas station, a car wash, and a place to take your kids after football practice, all wrapped up into one. Buc-ee's is proof God is real, because mankind could not come up with such a beautiful place on our own. Wait, hold on.
Trademark corpus.
Hold on, let me.
You are.
Hold on, like Kat, tell me that this building. I'm gonna pull it up on the stream. Tell me that this building doesn't inspire you to become a Texan. Look at that. Look at the beauty that is Buc-ee's.
It looks like.
Look at his adorable face. Marketable.
It looks like something Disney made 50 years ago.
Disney was invented by a Satanist who hated Jews. I don't know who made Buc-ee's, but I'm pretty sure he's only one of those things.
Yeah, but it looks like something that was created by Disney 50 years ago. It has that cheap, cartoony look from 50 years ago. Well, 80 years ago, maybe.
Primal, toss some of them in the Discord.
Yeah.
Kat and I post our shit whenever we write stuff in the Discord. You could just post what you want.
I haven't written anything in a while. I need to write something.
I am writing stuff, but I'm not going to share I'm not going to share some of the newer stuff from my novel because I fell back into edgy mode.
I'm still stuck on writing EMT Viso getting run through with a sword.
Gotcha.
And trying to figure out what corpus medicine is like. And every time I go with the chat GPT, it's like, it will take weeks to recover from such a... No, it won't. It's corpus medicine. My favorite was when I was trying to use the chat GPT to try to figure out corpus medicine. Was like, it will require weeks of physical and psychological recovery. I'm like, it's the corpus. Well, if they want him to function fully, he needs to deal with the trauma.
There isn't. It's using realistic. It's using real medicine. You would need to like set parameters. Like
it does. It knows what the corpus is. It's like in order.
It knows what the corpus is, but the corpus don't have for example, there is canon rates for Bacta healing, like how good Bacta is in Star Wars. There's canon for that. There's no canon for the corpus.
It says it acknowledges, for example, the fact that the corpus worship hard work, are very labor intensive, very profit.
Because that stuff it can get off the wiki. It can get that from the wiki.
I'm not finished.
I'm finishing.
I get what you're saying. I'm finishing. I don't need you to finish what I'm saying. All right. It acknowledges that. It acknowledges the worship of profit of the corpus. So then I'm like, okay, so why the hell would, if they, I'm like, okay, so the corpus would be more concerned about physical health. Once you could get up off your butt and start working again, the corpus would get you back to working. No, but if he wants to function at his most efficient and profitable, he needs to deal with psychological trauma. Again.
Because ChatGPT is dealing with a modern human mindset where healthy mental states matter.
Yeah, whereas even 20 years ago, healthy mental states didn't matter.
How long did it take her to get onto the corpus?
What?
I just realized I need to keep a timer for how long it takes Kat in whatever stream
to
start
given the insanity, they indicted Trump. I think I have an excuse.
No, you don't.
I'm playing Warframe.
Stop playing Warframe. I'm not working on the math that I need to be schoolwork that I've got time to do. I've got like 2 or 3 days to finish it. This isn't something due tonight. Don't worry, Muggsy, if you're in the chat. I could be multitasking, but one of us needs to. Howdy, Siege. Welcome, friendo. How are you doing today? All right.
Right.
Zenny, what are your opinions on corpus medicinal technologies?
Yeah, most people.
This is the conversation where she starts going on long diatribes. Everything else has been monosyllabic.
Again, as I said, Trump
no
is
offense,
being indicted.
I understand. I'm being an asshole.
Trump is being indicted. Our world is falling apart. Kids
Cats and dogs living together. Mass hysteria.
Yes, like she said. So the only thing that I have that keeps me sane is the corpus, who are so based and unwoke. They make my cat look like a hyper energetic ADHD 7-year-old child running around on a sugar high. The only thing that keeps me sane and going when the world is falling apart is to bury my mind in the world of the corpus. And then run missions on their side. Hey, Siege. Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen Siege.
Yeah, it's not recently. I feel like it was recently, but then time doesn't exist for me.
That's true. I can ban guests.
Why would you ban me?
No, I guess I can set up in my settings where I ban people. If it's if I get someone like Nick Fuentes, I somehow
that makes sense
enough to let Nick Fuentes on.
Who's Nick Fuentes?
He's a white supremacist.
How do you get
that was hanging out with Kanye West?
Yeah. Here's how big of a white supremacist he is. Donald Trump called out white supremacy and said it's bad, and Nick Fuentes called him a beta bitch cuck. Look, if there are any white supremacists in the chat, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, your ideology makes less sense than the gay ideology. because at least theirs can be argued as a form of population control that doesn't involve the mass slaughter of people based on their skin color. You guys are just fucking batshit crazy. Oh, no worries, Siege. Yeah. I just offended like a dozen people. I can already feel it. And only 7 people heard what I said.
Tired.
I can already feel Zenny buying a horse, buying a cavalry saber, and coming to ride me down like some sort of Civil War dragoon.
Please, Zenny, do it. Please, Zenny, do it.
No.
It sounds like fun.
I would honestly pay money to see like I think this would be fucking hilarious just because of how hyped up Zenny gets about the Confederacy. Just to like see her cosplay like a dragoon officer and like actually ride on the back of a horse like a cavalry saber or something. Like you would get fucking blacklisted from everywhere immediately as those pictures hit the internet. It would be amazing to see.
Well, I do have a coat that I'm working on.
You did not need to admit that.
Why not? That's awesome.
I'm not admitting to anything. I'm just admitting that I'm working on stuff.
I'm still gonna double check on this whole thing because I want to go to TennoCon. I want to go to TennoCon. I want a Corpus hat, and I want to go to TennoCon. And and everyone retweet my tweet about getting the 2 voice actors to come to TennoCon.
Poor cat.
I might even make a video about it and tell people to retweet it. Who cares about Tinker?
While you're doing that, I'm going to be coordinating. By the way, YouTube, joke. I'm going to be coordinating an active coup that will break off half of Canada away from the tyranny of Justin Trudeau. I'll try to make sure TennoCon falls on the half that breaks away.
Shadow, you need to first fix America. The Canadians are second.
Cat, read about how Julius Caesar financed his conquest of Rome. My Gallic Wars are going to be the Canadian Wars.
So you're going to
use... to wait 10 to 9 business years.
It's Canada, Shadow. It's like an ice age. Nobody wants Canada. It's freezing.
Actually, Alberta is relatively productive in regards to raw resources.
Oh, that little Grenier was crouched behind a corner thinking I couldn't see him. It was so cute. I shot him in the back.
Oh, I don't give a fuck about Pearly. Like, I really don't. I don't care. I'm just more like Nick Fuentes is just a human being I hate generally. I don't need I don't need him being brought to relevancy. Honestly, I don't. She said some things where it's like, okay, yeah, it's kind of stupid. And I mean, I don't know anything about her and I'm not black. So maybe that's why I didn't really have too many issues with what she said. But like, I just think Nick Fuentes is a garbage piece of human garbage that doesn't deserve the oxygen he gets to breathe.
Oh, did you see the video of AOC getting confronted by libs of TikTok?
I've got it pulled up on a different tab.
That is the coolest thing ever. It's like, I just served you ethic paper. Yeah, that was just... It truly amazes me how they could keep, oh no, these bills are hurting people. No. Do you even know what the bill says? I mean, I can't believe they still call that bill in Florida.
They don't.
They're crazy. No, but normal people, you want to know how I know normal people believe it? Because a while back, I was talking with someone. This was a couple of years back when the Star Wars movies were still, we're about 2 years after this, right? It was before the Coof thing, right? And he's like, I know we were talking about Star Wars, and I said, yeah, nobody likes the sequel trilogy. And the guy's, he's a white dude, right? It's like, it's because they were racist. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, do you even talk to Star Wars fans? No. Do you know anything about why they don't like the Last Jedi? It's because they're apparently racist.
I mean, I'm racist. That doesn't explain why I didn't like. I don't understand why race comes into like there. I mean, Zenny can attest to this. There was no horse racing. There was no greyhound racing. There was no car racing in The Last Jedi. At least not in a major focal point. Why would race it? Oh, you mean race racists, not race racists. Okay, gotcha. Never mind. Miscommunication. Apologies.
Zenny, help?
No.
I can't do much.
Yes, he is. Absolute shithead. What is my Rubicon? Probably the Mississippi.
What do you mean?
Julius Caesar effectively declared war on
Pompey I know if he passed
when he crossed the Rubicon with the 13th Legion. Because to march under arms into Italy proper, which was past the Rubicon, was not good. Putting people with weapons inside the city of Rome is even worse. I am not Canadian. I'm American. I'm just going to use Canada to finance my wars. YouTube, this is 67% jokes.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to invade Mexico instead.
Well, you're going to have to worry about the prince and princess of Canada, or the king and queen of Canada.
I don't.
You remember the
I don't care about Meghan Markle. Like, the blonde lawyer chick was more attractive than her character in Suits.
I never watched Suits.
I stopped watching after like the 4th season. It just wasn't interesting. But no, like every single woman on that show is more attractive than Meghan Markle. Even the people that are twice her age are more attractive than Meghan Markle.
I never knew who she was until the whole royal wedding stuff.
Oh, I didn't either. And I'm like watching Suits and I'm like, wait a minute, why are you familiar? Oh, that's Meghan Markle. Yeah. No wonder I don't find you attractive. You're a piece of shit. Yes, they need to stop being soy-ass bitches. Get off China's dick and start being an American company.
Yeah. God damn it, my stupid Kavad died again.
Yay! I don't know what that means.
It's my little... If you played Warframe, you would.
Is it like portable rations or something? Oh, Kavad's a tank. Wouldn't that make them portable Chinese rations?
No, for one thing, China doesn't exist in Warframe anymore. The whole planet.
The Chinese exist, and they
no, they don't. Not in Warframe.
Are you sure?
Yes, the entire planet is just inhabited. I mean, first of all, a lot of it's been poisoned by the Grineer, not the Corpus. The Grineer. The Grineer did that. Right. The Grineer did that.
You're just listening to Kat rant about Warframe. I think now's a good time to wind down. Zenny,
well, anyone, all right, chat people. All right, how many people got in the chat? Chat people. Who's excited about Tears of the Kingdom? Who's played Breath of the Wild? Who's excited? I got the OLED Switch. Though I want to know how Beat 'em Ups got his hands on that.
Because, Siege, I want to reform the Republic into the first galactic empire.
Shadow is crazy.
Correct.
Look, at least I'm supporting the Corpus, who are a meritocracy. A very, very, very wide definition of meritocracy.
Anyway, Zenny.
Anyone is anyone in the chat looking forward to how can you guys not be playing Zelda?
While we wait for those to stream in, Zenny, you got any projects, anything you want to talk about coming up?
Just stuff I'm doing.
Just keep an eye out in the Discord.
Oh, wait, Zenny, what are the different crickets?
Cricket?
Yeah.
I got 2 different ones. But the one I started out with is the Explorer Air 2. There's the Explorer Air 3, and that's kind of a step up from the 2. And then there's also the Maker series, and I've got the Maker 3. And that's top of the line.
What's the difference?
Different material you can cut.
And what do you make with them? Look, I want to make Corpus stuff, okay? I want to make Corpus stuff. If I'm going to go to...
You need to have skill. Zenny has skill. It's all a skill... I dropped my tape measure. It's all a skill issue.
Why do you have a tape measure?
Because it's on my desk and I just randomly picked it up without realizing.
Why do you have one in college?
This particular one was from when I was playing Warhammer.
Oh, yeah, never mind. I know.
And then now I keep it because I have a tool set for if anything breaks. Now that I have a car, that's very good to have. I can do my own repairs, relatively. Anyway, Kat, you got anything? Because Zenny, anyone who's in the Discord server can check out whenever Zenny posts stuff. Again, kind of sounds like I'm blowing smoke.
Come back, Zenny. You're the only sanity in this group.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think if we have, no offense to Zenny, I do think if we have Zenny back, we need like another guest just to have like a little bit of chaos, especially during Ramadan. When you have to like disappear, just to like have a little bit more chaos going on.
Look, I am sorry, but I do not.
Hey, madness.
Shadow, I am sorry, but I have no control over when the sun sets.
I understand that.
I don't know. I feel like you are blaming me.
I am not blaming you.
Shadow,
I am blaming.
Whoa, Shadow! How long have you hated Muslims like this?
Let me think.
Wow, this Muslim
hatred. When I found out what 9/11 was, I really hated you guys. When I found out what the Crusades was, which I thought are based, I really hated you guys. Trump said something that I supported heavily. So carry the 6, divide by 5. A little bit after I did that horrible thing in 2003.
Oh, so okay, all right.
Yeah.
Embracing. Weren't you like 4?
I am 20. It is currently, I'm 19, going into 20. It is currently 2023. Do the math to realize what
you weren't even born.
Look
Are
at
you denying your Muslim hatred that's burning in your soul? Just come forward and admit it.
No, I was born in 2003.
So depending on when, it was either,
I said after the horrid thing I did in 2003, I hated Muslims. I'm implying my entire life I've hated Muslims.
Wow.
Which, for those newcomers in the chat, which there shouldn't be that many of you, but
he's joking.
I am clearly joking because the person, my co-host, is a Muslim.
And I consider him, and this is going to come as a shock to people despite our ridiculous amounts of arguments. I don't know how drunk I have to be to admit this. I probably have to be drunk at this point. I consider this lunatic a friend. I don't know why.
Of course.
I think he's drugged my Red Bull. He probably has sent me my Red Bull. I got it from Amazon, but apparently he intercepted it and drugged it up, so I can say this.
Jeff Bezos owes me a favor.
I see.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I did a thing for him back in, 2007?
Okay.
Yeah, did him a favor. Did him a few favors, actually.
By the way, Jeff Bezos, I've been a member of Amazon since it was selling books.
You've also been a loyal and devout employee.
Yes. I demand some perks here, man.
You get nothing. Kat, what do you got coming up? Videos, streams, projects?
I'm probably going to try and live stream more in the evenings. Maybe I'll come back and live stream in a little bit. I don't know. It's exhausting. It's Ramadan. I definitely be live streaming on Saturday. I don't know I still haven't played Lightfall from Destiny 2, even though I paid the $100. Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Let's see. Sunday, it's Warframe Day. So if you haven't downloaded Warframe, download it. It's free. It's on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. We play Warframe. Muggsykins wants to, and you know what? Let's do it. We're gonna have a fashion frame contest, so that'll be awesome. Yeah, and Muggsykins is amazing. Like, I want to just talk to her about how she does. She just looks at Warframe. She's like, yeah, that one's good for ranged attacks. She is better than me. So it's like, Muggsy, I want to learn from her.
She's hyper cerebral.
Yeah. Whereas, yeah, she's amazing. So,
whereas Kat is
kill everything, and it doesn't matter how I do it as long as it works.
Yeah, but you're basically you are the missile. Muggsy is the guidance system.
Yes, or anyway. I'm basically you in female form. I bet you, if we were to put you in a Warframe map, you'll just kill everything.
Yes, but I'd probably be a mix of you and Muggsy. I'd honestly probably be more focused on appearance than lethality, but I'd also like try to optimize my equipment and build my playstyle around that. And by that, I mean, what gives me the best buffs for brutally killing things at close range with my bare hands? Let's do it. So anyway, everyone, I am the host of this stream this week, Shadow of Hawk.
He's going to be the host for the next 2 weeks because we're about a week into Ramadan, so he's going to be the host for like the next 3 weeks until Ramadan ends because I have to leave to eat. And I actually eat.
Fandom on my back.
I actually, like today, I had meat, I had chicken and potatoes, so I actually eat. I actually eat in Ramadan.
Yes.
No ramen during Ramadan.
I am, as I stated previously, I am the host, Shadow of Hawk. Many of you are familiar with me. if you're in the stream. If you're not familiar with me, you are probably someone not associated with Kat or the other people
You're probably very lucky.
Or you somehow got sent here by the algorithm, which is thank you.
Shadow, it's been fun. I gotta run. I gotta go use
the bathroom. Sorry, Kat, I'll speed this up.
I definitely have to go to the bathroom.
Tomorrow night is Friday Night Royal Rumble over on Legion Talk. I believe I've been invited. I don't know if I'm been invited. They might want to kick me one day. Saturday, not a stream I'll be a part of, but there will be Screaming into the Void. Later tonight, actually going on right now, Magitech Mags is doing a stream. Later tonight, you will find Samael the Infamous and his co-host Lawrence Knight doing Abyssal Musings. And then on Monday, you can catch me over on Legion Talk again for the Game of Thrones stream he does. Keep an eye out for random game streams whenever I do them, and I have a video that I've been meaning to edit for the last couple of days that I haven't due to a mix of stuff and procrastination. So, thank you all. Oh, Primal. Make sure to get something good. Thank you all for tuning in for some Merry Madness tonight. I hope it was merry. Sadly, it wasn't as mad as I was hoping it would be. And now time to wait for the broadcast to end.